be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
Damn it, George. Why do you insist on leaving that up there?
I don't, actually.
Oh. Okay.
How's it going, Joe? How's the stroke?
I'm dealing with it, all right? The struggles are real, man. Oh, by the way, we're live.
How's your... Oh, sorry. I meant... never mind. How's your week?
My week was excellent. Yours was even better, though.
It was amazing. And you know what? Right now, I'm going to tell everybody absolutely nothing about it. Except this one piece right here. This made such an amazing day.
Hold that back up.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Damn you.
I got to take the script that I wrote for Cold Dead War issue #1, and Joe Illidge emailed me all of the entire inks, all the inks. And I'm doing this thing where I'm taking a page that I wrote and then putting the ink behind it and then doing that for the whole script. And now I'm in a part of the process, which is a really interesting process that I never really had to go through before as a writer or a filmmaker, because I have to take some of these lines of dialogue. There's not a lot. I'm not a big monologue writer anyway, but I'm even looking for it. Like right here, there's a block of dialogue right here that's a little bit too long for like a comic bubble. So I get to go through it now with the whole thing and kind of read through the dialogue and kind of make it tighter, which is one of my favorite parts of writing, actually. Is when I get to kind of figure out how to say the same thing in like the least amount of words. Because as we all know, I'm not big on words when I come to actually, conversations about myself. So it's a great exercise. But the coolest thing about this is that straight the fuck up, man. Like I wrote a war story and this is issue #1. And it's just fucking so rad to just flip through this thing. It's so cool. And this is the very last page of issue 1 right here. And it's just so cool. And I'm going to just hold it up and not show it to anybody. Welcome, Outlaws, to another Friday night with Romero Pictures Heavy Metal Indie Brigade. Me, your host, George C. Romero, and my ever faithful and present producer extraordinaire, Mr. Joe Ridgely. We've both had a little bit of a weird energy kind of day today, so I'm actually surprised because that's a tongue twister to say, by the way, your intro there. It's a tongue twister. And I did that on purpose to make sure that I always stay on. And even if I'm not kind of like on when I say that, it kind of helps me like, switch the flip. And, that's actually pretty difficult to say. What'd you call me?
You said switch the... no, I don't. The stroke, never mind.
Yeah, I said flip the switch. What are you talking about?
Sure you did.
Man, look, the family's all here, right? The brigade is in the fucking house. We've got Michael. We've got Morgan. Well,
tell me where you're starting from, so we'll start from the top.
Huh? No, I'm going to start from 17 down. No, I'm going to go back up to 1. Come on, stay with me. Don't stroke out for a few hours. Okay. What's up, Ron? Gunny. Outlaws for life. That's fucking right. Welcome, Outlaws, to another Friday night here with us at the Romero Pictures Heavy Metal Indie Brigade. Pretty sure I already said that, so I'm gonna move on. Outlaws Unite. What's up, Brigade? Hey, that's my beautiful wife, Rebecca Romero. Without her, I would just not even want to walk through this fucking life of being an artist.
So wait a minute, is Gunny new here? Shouldn't that be the other way around?
Be nice to George or else Joe. That's right. Fucking don't make me call the gunny.
Yeah, he's drinking with Sean right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were smoking meat.
Oh man, yeah. All right. Hey Ken, good to see you.
What's up, Ken? Thank you, David. Hell yes, Cold Dead War. What's up, Kel? Let's see. If your war's cold, get a blanket. We got some. Man, this is awesome. I love our community. I really do. Dino, so happy you're here, man. Proud of you for bringing Cinephiles to life. We got to talk. We need that episode, brother.
Yes, please.
Elena, how's it going? You're at the part I hate doing. Sean, I love you, brother. I've got some stuff that you sent me that I really want to show off. And I've got some other stuff that you sent me that, well, like this. This is an amazing piece. You sent me 2 of these. One of them I've got to put in the mail. So I just wanted to show everybody this. This is just amazing. Sean Smithson sent me this, and he sent me 2 of them just like it.
So in other words, he's not going to show you what's on the other side just yet.
But I will show you this. So, because I got to show him, because Sean Smithson, you're a fucking badass. Look at this.
That's awesome.
Look at that, right? And that wouldn't be complete without that. Bam.
That is slick looking.
Like that. Boom. So those will always be in the background. And then look at this thing. You could beat somebody to death with this. Look at that, Gunny. Fuck yeah. Thank you, Sean.
Very cool.
Sean Smithson's Smithson Creations. If you guys need to get anything like that made, I spoke to Sean. I ordered some stuff from him, and he got it here quickly. He made an amazing cutting board, too, that he also laser engraved, but I can't show it to you because it currently has food on it. And it's amazing. So thank you for getting that done and sent out, Sean. I appreciate you, brother. You are the fucking man, and you're a fine craftsman.
And I will be showing off some of his work next week.
Yes. We got the Indie Brigade discount, which means mine was at regular price and Joe's was an extra 10%.
So it was an extra 25%. What are you talking about?
Man, good stuff going on. Good stuff going on. I dropped a little bit of a hint of a picture yesterday on my Facebook. A little bit of a new skull design. For anybody wondering what that is about, answers coming very, very soon. Also, for anybody who hasn't checked it out yet, I relaunched the RomeroPictures.com website. It is a lot easier to kind of navigate. I think at some point, I'm looking at it now, I think at some point it's probably going to mess with my OCD. So I'll probably have to do something else weird and clean lined again. But, you know, I really am loving it. I think that this is a pretty great updated kind of look and feel to it. It's easier to navigate. There's not so much to click through, but all of the information is still there. And as always, our merch store is there at romeropictures.com/merch. So if you like us, if you love us, if you hate us, well, maybe none of you hate us. But if you just want to, if you've ever learned anything on here, if you enjoyed spending any of your quarantine or lockdown with us, if you like hanging out and you've learned anything, go to romeropictures.com/merch and get you some merch. Help us keep the lights on. Help us keep the servers running. And you'll see in the merch store there's a line called Scare Tactical. Any Scare Tactical purchase, a portion of that sale goes directly there. There's the logo. Goes directly to helping us get the veterans compound where it needs to be. Part of the bad part of my week was spending a lot of hours trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with the IRS and all that stuff, because I'm just waiting for the 501c3 designation letter at this point so that we can start taking in some donations, taking in some money and putting on fundraisers and things like that. But the veterans compound is something I've been working on for a very long time. Gunny knows all about it. And it's really a great program. It's the thing that I want to leave on this earth one day, and it is just it's really a great program where we're going to be working to help veterans process their own experiences on deployment through the creative arts of filmmaking, things like that. How to make a movie, how to write a movie, how to run a camera, how to field strip a camera and put it back together, how to work in the lighting department, work in the grip department. And the nice thing about it is at the end of each program, we're going to run 2 programs a year to start. And at the end of each program, we're actually going to shoot a feature film. And everybody who works on that feature film is not only going to get paid to do it, they're going to gain hours toward union membership in the sort of industry unions, and they're going to get a piece of ownership of the film. So this is the thing that Romero Pictures will leave behind beyond our own creations and art. It is the important thing that we're doing. So everything that you buy from the Scare Tactical line will help us get that off the ground, help us do some really cool shit, and help us help vets. So head over there. If you don't like any of the merch, if you don't want to help us help veterans, basically all those things, go to buymeacoffee.com/RP Indie Brigade and, well, buy me a coffee, because God knows I live on this stuff. And I'm about to literally just put us in the poorhouse, because I'm now powering through, like, I don't know, almost a pound of coffee a day. So that's, literally, it's crazy. I've been
expensive habit.
You message me when you get to work, and you message me before you go to bed, and you're like, are you done yet? And I'm like, I got like 3 more hours to go. I go till the tank's empty, and then I wake up and I fill it again. So that's, I think, part of the struggle, part of what we're all trying to do. We're trying to figure out how to keep our tanks full, which is enough of a struggle for us indies. It's enough of a struggle for us creatives, and it's enough of a struggle for us artists when times aren't like they are right now. And it's a lot. It's even a lot harder right now in these weird times for a lot of folks in the brigade and folks who have not yet found the brigade. So if you know an artist, if you know somebody out there who's struggling with their creative, if you know somebody who just needs a place to remind them that they're not alone, or to remind them that what we do is, there are a lot of similarities. A lot of us can identify with a lot of the pain and a lot of the bullshit that creatives and artists go through. Tell them about the brigade, bring them, get them to subscribe, get them to show up, get them to pay attention. We are here solely to help everybody in our boat remember that we're not alone. And that's the first step in actually creating something, because isolation is the enemy of creativity. Although isolation is often required to achieve it, it is also the biggest enemy. So bring your friends, tell your family, put up flyers, stand on the corner of your street waving a 9-iron in the air and screaming about the Indie Brigade. Well, maybe don't do that.
You never know who's going to show up here, huh?
Frank, what's up, Frank? Good to see you. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Love you, buddy.
Good stuff. Got lots of people, man. And
Becky, what is my wife saying? He doesn't listen to me? I'm sorry. Who's the one who doesn't listen when I talk?
Just remember, you have that big block of wood Sean gave you that she may put into use now.
God, I hope so. What else? Do you want to go over the subscribe stuff? Awesome, Morgan. Thank you. I thought you watched it for Joe's charming wit and smile. I didn't think you watched it for those reasons. We're glad you're here, Morgan. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you will always learn something from what we talk about here, and I hope that being part of the brigade will help sort of broaden anything you need to learn about. We got a lot of great folks here. We got a lot of people who know a lot of things about a lot of things, and we got a lot of people that know a little bit about a lot of things, and we got a lot of people that know a lot of stuff about a few things. So hopefully you can find what you're looking for here, man. Cooking accident. Well, I can't. It's kind of blurry. I can't read it.
Damn it. It's all right. AJ wants to know what microphone you're using, if you can disclose that.
Yeah, it's the SE Electronics Z3300A. I've had this thing for years, AJ. Does it sound okay? Is it sounding all right? Never know. Love you too, Sam. I am. You can leave Joe off that in the future. He doesn't need any kind of positivity in his life.
I'm a very sensitive. Fuck you.
Man, it's good to see you, Joe. I love you.
I love you too, brother. We got some people in the lobby now. So, what do you want to do? Talk to me.
Well, last night, for anybody who didn't tune in last night, Richard Grieco and myself, we popped on a little bit and talked about What Was I Thinking? Fragments from a Dirty Ashtray, Richard Grieco's upcoming show here on the Indie Brigade. And we gave everybody a little bit of an idea of what's coming. And Richard riffed a little bit about the creative spirit that he's really hoping to kind of nurture and bring to it. And he and I talked about it a little bit more today. And I really think it's going to be something special. I mean, I think that it's going to be, it almost sounds like it's going to be some sort of like a creative workshop type thing. And, we love Richard here. So basically anything he wants to do is fine. And he's probably my best friend on earth and my brother. And so why don't we bring him up here?
Boom.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
He's inside for once.
What?
Well, there's a protest going on. You got Trump supporters on one side, BLM on the other, and there's like 19. Well, there's probably 5 helicopters. This is way up the street, up the hill.
I liked it better when I thought it was 19 helicopters.
Well, it's actually probably about 5 helicopters. And so, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean,
well, that's all right because you got a nice background there. I see some of your work there.
yeah.
Say that's got to be original Grieco art back there.
Yep. We got people saying hello to you. Sam, I am. It's Richard fucking Grieco.
People from Australia.
Robert.
Hey, what's up, Robin?
Nice.
Really glad you're here. Really glad you're here. Man, I'm telling you what. How about the fact that the Indie Brigade reached motherfucking Australia? What do you think about that, Grieco?
It's awesome. We love Australia.
Yeah, it's a pretty great place. And, we reach far. And I love that. That says a lot about the message, and it says a lot about our community, and it says a lot about what we're trying to do here. And that's what I loved about what you had to say last night about your show.
I think what you do, and what we'll do continuing on from that is just keeping everything fucking real. I mean, everyone hears so much crap and bullshit on TV today, and in the news and everywhere that when they hear real stuff and just real, honest, I mean, it's okay to be nice to people out there, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the worst thing on earth to be nice to somebody.
Yeah.
Do we have Michael?
We do. Would you like Michael brought up?
I would love Michael brought up.
Michael, are you ready for us? Boom. There
Hey.
he is.
Mr. Michael Mandaville.
How you guys doing there? Richard, Cameron,
Hey, Michael.
Joe.
Good to see you,
How are
Michael. I'm really sorry for your loss. Michael had a loss. I'm not trying to give anything personal away, but you did Facebook about it. So I want to, now that I'm looking at you face to face, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it was a gentleman I worked with on a movie called Havoc, and his name was Lars Bjork. He was always a very nice man. He's one of those people that knew a lot about distribution. His father was in distribution. He spoke 5 languages. He had a really good heart, just a nice guy. And we got along because he goes, I don't know anything about production. I really don't do this. But he knew an immense amount about distribution. And I was sad to find out he died of cancer. He was a world traveler, born in Peru, spoke number of languages, went to school in Paris and different nationalities. He had 2 or 3 passports, I think, and just a great guy. So thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're proud to remember him here at the Brigade.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any friend of Michael's is a friend of mine. Sadly I didn't meet him, but he will be missed.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Well, other than that, was your week okay? I know that we tried to connect a couple of times, and
Yeah.
Was your week good?
It was good overall. I mean, we just have to deal with droughts, fires, pandemics, riots, traffic. But we do have the beach, so we're good. It all works out.
I'm excited because I have some inside information here tonight, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go over with you. I cannot tell you who it's from or what production it's for, but it is random numbers. And I'm excited. I love throwing random numbers at you.
Oh, that sounds like a good plan. I get those all the time. Producers going, "Hey, we could shoot this movie for $12 million." I'm like, "Well, in what country?" I get random numbers all the time, So it's kind of wacky in that way. But good thing I did do, which was fascinating on the Brigade, was I went to see a smart stage on Wednesday, and it's essentially a green screen psych, and they use a camera setup where they take Unreal Game Engine and they interface it into the camera so you can actually see the assets that you're creating inside the monitor of the camera. And it's really quite fascinating. But if you're doing a pretty modest scene like a Starbucks or, someplace where it's easily modeled, it's fascinating. So that was a really good day. I just finished a video for that I'm putting up on Vimeo and YouTube, etc. But, when Richard was talking about the idea that SAG is having its own issues, basically that the model is changing. And, the funny part is I don't know if Richard knows this even, but, when you talk about travel for SAG, and you're supposed to get first-class travel. Do you know what their model was for that?
No.
The Pullman railroad car.
Really?
Yeah. If you look it up, it was, at least a few years ago, still in the basic agreement that is the level that Richard Grieco, traveling first class, is entitled to, the Pullman railroad car. And so the fact that now it's air travel, obviously, but that's how far back, or shall I say, how much their model and their thinking needs to be updated?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Did you guys also know that the Pullman car was created in Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. And but I bet neither of you knew that my entire goal in life is to get to a point where I only travel by Pullman car.
Oh, now that one I think you mentioned, but I'd forgotten. Yeah.
I want a Pullman car with a pool table and a bar. Like, I want a supervillain like Pullman car.
It's like a mobile man cave.
Right?
And the three of us will just jump in it and go like hustle pool across the country.
Hey, there's a dispensary there. Can we stop?
Right.
Hey, we got an empty car behind it. Let's get it filled,
Well, it's interesting you brought up the virtual stage. Well, virtual stage versus smart stage. I want to actually talk about that with both of you guys tonight because Grieco and I have been talking a lot about that because of some of the stuff that has to do with the briefcase. But we have a gentleman who has been waiting very patiently for a week to deliver his pitch. And first of all, I need to let everybody know that Herman messaged me a little bit ago and said he's not going to be able to make it tonight. He had something pop up that he could not shake. Anyway, okay. He will not be here, so Jack will just be pitching to the two of us. And, it's interesting because how many times have we all gone to pitch somebody who says come back, and then it's somebody totally new or that person's gone or whatever. So It's an interesting real-world twist. And I thank you guys for coming back a third week in a row to really just kind of see this thing through. And we've got what Joe's here. I think he's about to tell me Jack's not here or something.
I was waiting for you to say to bring Jack up, but I can leave.
Back here.
So let's go ahead and bring him up and let him do his. This is his 5-minute pitch, his extended pitch, we'll call it. It's from the 1-minute pitch. So let's bring Jack up.
I did want to say my friend Robin from Australia is called in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did see her. And then there was also somebody else said,
Yeah,
I saw
looking
another
for it.
one.
Here it is. Director.
Director from Australia, Juvenile
Yeah.
Delinquents, Neil.
There we go. The
Yeah,
Aussies. Yay.
Boom. That's awesome. I wonder what time it is in Australia. I think it's Monday there.
Yeah, you crossed the date line.
Jack Hunter, how are you?
I'm good.
Jack.
I am good. I'm
Good.
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 I'm nervous, but you know what? If I wasn't nervous, then I'm in the wrong business. So
Well, you look clean cut. You look good. You look like you brought your A game. So you've already had an advantage over everybody else because you had a whole additional week to prepare for this.
I did, and I've been, and hopefully tonight, I show you guys what I am capable of, and beforehand, I know I've told you, but I do want to protect my IP. So at one point in a pitch, I will direct you to a part in the private chat for you guys to read, just the very ending of the pitch, because I want to protect my idea. If you don't mind, if that's okay with you guys.
That's fine as long as Joe's willing to like hum some sort of music or something while we're all reading. Joe doesn't like dead air.
I mean, I could sing. I mean, that is a talent that I do have, and if needed be.
And it will not be on here, but we appreciate it.
Hey, you just saw the video I made like several months ago of singing to the Brigade, apparently.
It's good to see you, man. You look great tonight, and we're excited to hear what you have to say. So you've managed to walk into a friendly room this week. We will do our best to make it hostile for you.
Well, thank you. Bring it on. Do not go easy on me. And that's all I ask. Be real and give your honest opinions.
I don't think anybody on this screen is known for going easy on anybody, Jack. So
perfect.
So Jack, first question: when did you get paroled? I can't remember. So I just need to really, get some notes here.
Well, back in, it's been expunged, so I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Damn. Okay.
I know.
All right.
So are you ready? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So my pitch tonight is for my idea and my script for a film called Faceless. And the genre is a horror slasher ... And the reason I leave that ... is because if I would give away what it is, you'd probably already kind of guess the tone. So in the very beginning of my film, there's a PSA that comes on screen. It says the incidence of PTSD has increased since 2000 with a peak in 2011 and 2012. Post-deployment PTSD prevalence in the U.S. infantry personnel has averaged 10 to 20% often coexisting with depression, substance misuse, and other concerns. Then our film dives into a kid, a young 9-year-old boy who is getting bullied at school. He is completely, he's that typical kid in high school, not in high school, but in a young school that is getting bullied for no reason. So he goes home and his family decides, hey, let's go on a trip. Let's go get out there. So after this, they're all getting together. Unfortunately, there is a crash that is seen. But at this point in time, you don't see anything. All you see is the crash. Then fast forward a year later. His son, the kid that was bullied, goes up and asks his father, from the previous scene before the crash. He asked him, please, Dad, can I get a laptop? I want to start writing. I want to start doing things. I want to start getting creative. All right. So to bring it up right now where they live, they are in a small town, a couple police stations in this town because they are just, it's just that typical Southern town where you have 1 or 2 police stations. Now, our killer that he starts to write about, the young boy, the killer is a faceless killer. He is dressed up in black ops. Everything he's wearing is in tactical gear. There's nothing that could literally penetrate him because of all the military gear that is on him. You can see the military grade Kevlar vest that we had to wear when I was in a service to protect us from bullets and everything else. So nothing could really penetrate him. So the son starts drawing and creating, these little murders, these little little ideas that he has. You know, it's pretty quite creepy. And the dad, he is about 39 years old, and he is a detective. So at this time, his son is drawing this stuff, but he's realizing in the town that there's a lot of murders being happening. And he's starting to realize that each murder that is happening they're targeting cops. And each murder that is being committed is done in military grade style, like IEDs, a rocket launcher, scoping, people falling into vats of acid. And, you had your typical slasher type of things throughout this film, but every kill is related to the military. So his son, the dad finds out about what's going on. So he takes him to the park and he tries, hey, Dad, please. He talks to his son and says, please, can you stop doing this? Can you really stop doing these types of things? And his son says no, and his son continues to draw. But in the drawings that you do see on screen during the movie is pictures, but the face is not revealed just yet. And every time there's a murder, his dad looks at these drawings and he sees, hey, what are you doing? What is going on? So the murders continue to happen. And throughout this film, there's flashbacks of this kid getting bullied. All right. So it comes to the point towards the end of the second act. And we actually realize the tone of this film is about the relationship between the father and son, because the father wants to get the son help. And but the thing is, if he brings it to the doctor, it's going to look bad on him because he's the head detective in the town and that he's killing cops. So he doesn't really want that. So at the end of the second act, actually more or less for the third act, I'm about to get barged in by my beautiful daughter. Hi, I'm trying to pitch this to these amazing people. Literally, like the Richard Grieco is on screen, daughter. Literally, Booker is on screen. Can I do this? Can I do this?
Wait, she needs 10 seconds of fame. Also, come on.
Give me okay. Give me a minute, baby. It's okay. Give me kisses. No kisses? Really? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna finish this. I'm almost done. All right. So wow.
That was awesome.
Thank you. At the end of the third act, or towards the third act, this is where the third act begins. We see the killer, the faceless killer, all in Kevlar, approaching his house, and the dad is standing inside his room. His son comes in with all these drawings of all these pictures that he's been doing, and he's like, Dad, I know who's the killer. I know who is doing all this to your friends, to all these cops that you are associated with. Obviously, a child wouldn't really say it like that, but in the script, we'll figure out something. Okay. And the son hands him a picture. And this is the point where I ask you, what do you think he sees?
Want to
answer? Where you get stared at in conference rooms because nobody wants to answer your question.
Oh, well, then. Oh, dear God, you guys are great. So now
father.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, so I am sending you through the private chat is what is happening, and I'm going to have to
okay,
go little by line by line. Aaron, can we not mess with Daddy's stuff, please? Thank you.
Go, and 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
okay. What I'm doing right now.
All right, dude. What am I supposed to do?
Just talk. You don't want that air.
Oh yeah, I don't want that air. If I'm going to talk, I got to remove Jack so he doesn't talk then. So you guys can read this. Anyway, some pretty good comments going on. A lot of people interested in this pitch so far, and a few people thinking that there may have been some spoiler alerts.
I thought it was just going to be a paragraph. It's like 5.
Holy crap!
Yeah, we're going to be here for a while.
What happened?
Wow. You want me to do magic tricks, some impersonations?
Can you see the private chat, Richard?
No, because I'm on the iPad. So.
Oh, well, there's a problem. So Jack put the end of his pitch in writing in the private chat, and you can't see it.
Oh,
so,
wait, hang on. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
You definitely didn't put the cliff notes
Hang
in.
on. All right,
Yeah.
I got it.
Damon, that is not going to happen. And I'm not even going to freaking touch that with a 10-foot pole. And yeah, he pretty much did say there's a good few pages there.
Okay.
So
I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know Richard's not, but
in my notes, it really didn't look that long, but when I put it in there,
Yeah, it's a lot.
I apologize, guys.
Not at all. Not at all. I think Richard's still checking it out. Michael, let's start with you.
Sure.
Sick 'em.
Well, one thing is that interesting technique you had putting in this material at the end to give us a twist. And the idea would be to not have the reaction we just had, which is like, what? It seems like a lot. You want to have a twist is kind of like the whodunit at the end of a movie where they go, oh my God, it's the butler with the pipe. I knew it, man. Why didn't I do that? And the shorter it is, the more emotional impact it's going to have, the less thinking you want people to do. And so one way or the other, you might want to figure out the way to distill it in a way that just has this quick delivery, like a joke, a punchline in a joke. Maybe that's not it, but a twist at the end of the movie. Very relatively quick, because the forum that you are in is people have a very short amount of time, and you want to hit them emotionally, and you want to surprise them, and you want to make it the easiest possible purchase. Now, what's interesting is there's a really good book that a gentleman wrote, and I don't know if you, Richard and Cameron certainly know the movie Body Heat. You remember that movie, right? You know that movie, Jack?
I do not. I'm sorry.
So, okay, youngster. So, anyways, the point made in this movie that Lawrence Kasdan wrote this script, gave it to his agent. And there's a part where William Hurt takes this chair, and both Cameron and Richard are going to go, I know the part you're talking about. He smashes this glass door, goes in, grabs Kathleen Turner, very hot in this movie, and they grapple with each other as they are going to have sex. Well, what's interesting is he could have written smash window, went in, grapple, sex. He didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
He actually went in and wrote this erotic material for about 2 pages, 2.5 pages or 3. Now, he said why, and because he wanted every agent that was reading that script in the afternoon to leave early and go and see their significant other. Now, if you think about that and take that as an encapsulation of what you need to do, he wanted them to feel this emotion and to get it so distinctly that they took action, right? And when you look at a script, the script is not the movie. It's not even actually the plan for the movie. It's a sales brochure. It's a elongated sales brochure to get somebody to go, you got to make this movie. So when you get your story points, right, that one thing, and I like the way you had this set up because you had the child and father. I think that's very good. There, she's making another appearance. What a movie star. As soon as I said child, she came in. She's got timing. So when you set that up, then you have to milk the emotion between the father and son, because that's what's going to, I think, work in the room.
Yeah.
People are going to have a kid. They're going to, or be a father or a parent, and then have that. And that, to me, is the genesis of somebody who, and I can't talk about the ending here. I don't want to give it away. But anybody, as you preface it with PTSD, is going to get our sympathy and understanding. So you're in a good direction right there.
Right.
Mhm.
But when it's reduced to just the most simplest components, it's the most impactful.
That's right.
And I also think that you want to tell a story where you never say the word opening, act 1, act 2, act 3, climax. It should be flowing so much that it's almost you're driving in a car. And I'm trying to give you a little more time because you were very patient with us, so I appreciate that. But you're driving in a car telling your friend, and your friend's in the seat, and he goes, well, what happened next, man? If you can take your story, which has that potential, and get that, wait, I'm not going to get the drink right now. What happened? And play with that. You'll have a dynamite pitch, I think.
I agree. And Grieco, I want to jump to you, but I want to jump in and first tell you, Jack, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. You did a great job. You looked apart. You came in, you owned it. You absolutely killed it. And I want you to know that what we're saying to you is coming from a true place of love for you, and a true place of trying to help you make this absolutely as good as you and I both know it can be.
Thank you.
So, that said, there are a few things like the question when you asked us a question, and I kind of busted your chops about it.
You did.
The concept of asking us questions is phenomenal. When I'm in a pitch, I engage the people I'm pitching to, but I do it throughout.
Right.
So, and I do it much more by just kind of conversationally engaging with them back and forth. Like, it's like that. Did you ever see Glenn Ross?
And no, sir.
Okay. Don't call me sir. I work for a living.
Hey, I use that on you. Come on now.
So Glenn Ross, always be closing, right? So when you're in a pitch, you're constantly trying to get the people you're pitching on your side of the table. You want at least one person to want to get up and come on your side of the table and help the other people understand it. So by doing that, by asking one question at a certain point, you have the potential to make the people you're pitching feel as though you're putting them on the spot and giving them a quiz based on what you said. You want the people you're pitching to feel like they would rather quiz each other or almost one up each other when it comes to talking about your pitch back to you. These are just some notes that I took. Mm-hmm. But beyond that, and I'll talk more because I want to kick this over to Grieco for his thoughts on it, because I could literally see his wheels turning as you were talking. So I know he's got some really good stuff for you. So let's, Richard, what do you think?
First of all, I think you did a good job, Jack.
Thank you.
And when you talk about a script or a story or an idea, you don't want to, basically like Michael was saying, you don't want to break it down, act 1, act 2, if I'm telling you a story about me going to Starbucks today and I get up there, there's a friggin' line in the drive-through thing, so I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go inside. All of a sudden, there was this lady, and she's saying, she goes, I don't have any gloves on. Can you open the door for me? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll open the door for you. Well, come to find out, she walks in, and then she ends up selling gloves at Starbucks. These little surgical gloves. So next thing I know, I walk outside. I go, I thought you said you didn't have any gloves. She goes, well, I didn't, but these aren't for me. They're for sale. So I ended up buying her a coffee, and she said thank you. And when I left, and I see her walking out, and she's following me along, and I go, where's your car? And she goes, I don't have a car. And I go, oh, where do you need to go? And she goes, well, I just live down the street. She's about 75, 80 years old. So I put her in my car and to get in and put your seatbelt on and stuff. And She gets in, and I go, I'm driving around. I go, well, just tell me the address where you live. And she goes, well, it's kind of all over where I live. And then she looked at me. Her eyes turned red. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She opened her mouth, and these fangs came down. So I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, my point is,
I was like,
my
good story. Great story. But
my
I
point
think,
is,
I think I know exactly what you're saying. And I was debating whether to say act or not, but now I know definitely not
because basically what you're doing, you're selling us a product and information. You know, you're selling us information, and it's got to be something that we go. I mean, you're never going to. I mean, the perfect. I don't know if there ever really is a perfect pitch. Maybe there is. Maybe the best pitch I ever had was Gigolos, which I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up selling the show. Because I lied about everything. Sold it Showtime, right up there with everybody.
Which is a classic Hollywood moment.
But
it's sold because he lied.
Yeah, and then I had to find Gigolos.
Oh shit!
But Jack, you're on the right track. You got a really great, interesting story. You got compelling characters with the kid, the father, the relationship with them. It's just when you jump around a lot, you know what I mean? It's got to be like a one kind of a through line and stuff. And the question you asked at the end, I didn't answer for a reason. Because you did a slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times you're not going to be able to do a slideshow in a room. You're going to be able to walk in, you know, which I think was great that you did a slideshow, and maybe some like a smaller places, stuff like that. You can, you know, but you can bring your laptop. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And do that. But the reason why I didn't answer you back because I wanted you to think, what do I do next? Because no one's saying anything. It happens. It does.
Yeah.
In a room.
Yeah.
It does happen. No one says anything. You're like,
it's like a deer in headlights.
It is the worst moment you can ever have in a pitch when you think you have engaged everybody. And by the way, you really did. The level that you took your pitch to from last time to this time is like night and day. Very impressed. Very proud of all of that. But that was part of the other reason that I think that none of us answered you is because you came pretty polished. You came at it hard. And the whole point of this is to create a potentially hostile environment, which we have all run into. And
right.
So you wanted to bring your A game, so we brought the hostile A game, right? And
yes,
the
sir.
most hostile moment that you can encounter in a pitch is when you are sure you have killed your material and you get three people staring at you like you just kicked their cat.
Now, can I ask you a question? And am I allowed to? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. So with the stuff that you read in the private chat that everyone else can't see, do you think it left everyone else hanging? And then by that reveal, in the private chat, what do you think it's a full circle? Like does it is it a? I'm not fetching for compliments. I'm asking if it's that moment when
it's a comprehensive pitch.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that works. That works. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Which is probably one of the highest pieces of praise you can get from Mr. Michael Mandaville.
I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm just. Aaron, would you like to say something? Would you like to say hi? You want to say hi? No.
Camera shy, voice shy, camera ready.
I think this is probably the first time a child's been on. Well, no, other than DEFCON 1, but
that's right.
One thing I think Richard gave an excellent example with his story at Starbucks, because
Mm-hmm.
It drew everybody in, and all of a sudden, you had this surprise, and the surprise was, oh, this little old lady, she needs help, and okay, now she doesn't have a place to live, and then boom, whammo, you had this surprise, and that's what you have to achieve. And I think the nice part for you or everybody in the brigade is you have friends and you go, hey, I just want to tell you a story. Can you just give me like 5 minutes? Well, sure. Like, how many friends you're going to get to do that? 20, right? And then afterwards, I got a couple questions for you or something like that. And you start telling this story and they go, the first thing you want to get out of their face is that true? Is that true? You're going to get that kind of echo. And when you can deliver it in a way that is like delivering a story just that you're iterating, that that this happened to somebody in St. Louis or wherever it is, that's when you're really going to have this pitch down to draw people in. Because people don't think in terms of words. You can't memorize the language. Like I practice learning French or something, right? You don't think in terms of the same word. You don't see car and voiture. When you say the word voiture in French, you just picture a car in your head. We think in terms of images. So you have this jump where when you get that story down, like Richard was doing, I'm picturing this lady. I'm going, oh, that's like my mother-in-law. Good. Okay. Nice. Love, trying to make some money. And then, oh, okay, he's a nice guy. He bought her coffee. Okay, that's good. Oh, well, I'll give you a ride. And I'm like, okay, he's really going out of his way here. But, he drew me into her little world by his good deeds. And then when he said that killer line at the end, well, his good deeds got a pretty unfortunate payback.
Right.
So he had a twist, and because he's a storyteller and has this enormous emotional cues of an audience, he could do that very quickly, right? So I think you really have to take his lesson there and practice that way. And I'd say everybody in the brigades could really take a lesson to do it. Because once you get your story down where anybody can interrupt you and you can pick it up right away, but still flow, that's when you're actually going to be a lot calmer doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be fishing for friggin' words in your head. When you're trying to pitch and get thrown off, you'll be able to pick it up right away. And I know somebody that actually takes their pitch and uses visuals because it's like, when I was doing some stand-up comedy, you don't deliver it word for word. Everybody feels it's stilted. You want to deliver a story and a moment and sensory information, right?
Right.
And once you get that down, and whatever technique you need to use, people will feel the confidence, the flow, the meaning, the emotion, and all these kind of great things about it. So I think there's a great potential in there for you to have that construct. Really.
That's some phenomenal advice. Richard, do you have anything else you want to follow
I
up?
was just being off Richard there, I'm just
I want to talk about that too.
the Grieco ball and running downfield a little,
No, I want to talk about what he did there too, but I want to see if do you have anything else you want to add
it's just bringing it down to a level of, when you're passionate about something and you're talking about it, it's when, if you believe it with conviction, they're going to believe it. No matter how outlandish and crazy it is. You think about it, when you talk about the kid, I would, because when you take, there's certain things, and I'm not going to, but there's certain things you can do where take some pauses, because it gives them a chance to kind of process that information.
Mm-hmm.
Think about like that kind of stuff, and
yeah.
but don't get me wrong. You did a great from where you were before to now. It's like huge.
Well, thank you.
So, but you got a good voice, and you got a great look, and if you come in like the way you are right now, and just you commanded the room. Then when you went to first act, second act, and then you kind of lost me a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think keep the story flowing, and engage them, and make them want more, and then it's the easiest thing to do, but it's the hardest thing to do. I mean, like in acting, the hardest thing to do in the world is to be simple.
Right.
The simplest thing. Like someone just taking and smoking a cigarette,
Mm-hmm.
It's when you watch people on movies and stuff like that, when they don't smoke and they can tell they don't smoke.
Yeah, they're like,
look at, I'm smoking a cigarette now.
Yeah.
And I think the natural cadence you have is great. I would just kind of breathe some air in it, a little bit, and give it a little room to breathe with them, draw them in.
I was kind of trying. I guess no, I didn't try. What I was doing, and I should have did it. I should have been more natural. I think that's the best. That's what I'm getting.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was myself, and I was being, I was a presentation, and I definitely screwed up. I know I screwed up with the acts. Like from now on, never say, because that'll just take you right out of the story. That I was just.
First of all, I'm going to cut you off because you didn't screw up.
No, no screw up.
Yeah, you can't ever look at this at a pitch situation, and everybody needs to listen to this. You bomb pitches, you kill pitches, you don't ever screw up. You don't make. It's hard to explain, but you don't make mistakes. You just
there are
didn't
beautiful
learn.
mistakes.
There
are beautiful mistakes that we all make.
That. You have to look at it like there wasn't a vibe. Like when you and I first talked, Jack, there was a vibe. There was a back and forth vibe, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That vibe is a very real thing. The way Michael and I vibe, the way Richard and I vibe, the way the three of us vibe, right? Like there's that means vibration, right? People forget that. Vibe is short for vibrate. There is a vibration that you can feel in these rooms. And it's an energy in the air, and you can feel it. And you just have to. One of the best things Richard just said to you was by taking the pauses, by letting it breathe, by giving people time to process what you're saying. That is a time for you to sense the vibration of that room.
Absolutely.
Because that vibration when you walk in. Mm-hmm. Is the vibration that you've got to then tune to your own. Mm-hmm. You are one of the people out there that I know has the power to do that. You just need to, and I hope you're taking all of this in the right spirit because you are a storyteller. Mm-hmm. And what this is the point I want to make about Richard's story. I was watching the comments. People were sucked the fuck in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh my God, he was getting a coffee. He's helping a lady who's now an old lady, who's now a homeless old lady. He's like Jesus. And then he's fucking with you.
Yeah. 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 I love it. Bring it. I just from that story, I learned a lot. And it's just, yeah, you're right.
So,
just be myself a little bit more and be fluent and vibe.
Just tell your story. Your story is you are more of your story than you realize, and most filmmakers who pitch don't realize this. Mm-hmm. The story, you are 90% of the story you're there to pitch. You as a person, you as an energy, you as a spirit, you as the creator of the story. You are the vibration of your story, and your job when you're pitching is to tune everybody else to your vibration. I think that might be the most California fucking thing I've ever seen.
You know, that's probably true. There's actually a really good book that these people put together that talk about, you know, the vibrational element of it, but it has to do with electrical energy and all sorts of stuff. It's kind of a fascinating book, but when it does come down to it, you have a couple things you have to deal with. One is your state of mind, whatever it is, in the positive way, and the other is your use of words. People, sadly, have such a loss of enormous personal potential in this world by the words they say to themselves and other people.
Mhm.
And when you say to yourself, and I got this from my father, actually, he goes, there's two things. You learn or you succeed. There is no failure if you're putting the effort and the work in. Okay? If you actually do something really poorly and expect great results, well, you better learn that that's not going to work. But when you really put in a lot of work and you get more feedback to get this loop, and that's software iteration. It's not a finality. If you make software, you get an idea, you put in the software, you get feedback, people go, this is a great feature, oh, that's good, that sucks, that's whatever. Oh, then you change the features, you add to it, you put it out. Then you get more feedback. It's a loop that people have in the software iterative world we're in. We're no longer in a linear world in that way, interestingly. So you got to change your meaning on that. And I like what Cameron was saying there about the vibe, because people they may have 50, 100 pitches in a week. I mean, it's going to get foggy, right? People send me scripts and I go, I got 20 here that I'm supposed to read, right now with money attached. And sometimes I go, wait, what was your script again? Okay, was it this or this or this? But so you need to stand out, and by having that vibration is just a force of personality that you believe so much in it, and have this fluidity, and that came across. It's just to throw in some of Cameron's woodworking. I think you got to sand the edges a little or something like that, and make the parts. There's a certain name for like putting something together with just wood. I don't know, pins and something, but I can't think of it. You're the woodworker. Jump in here, dude. Save me.
I'm leaving you hanging on purpose.
See, friends do it anyway to friends.
Yes.
So Jack, that it happened. But no, and you use an interesting term there too, Michael, force of personality. That doesn't necessarily mean aggression.
No.
And that doesn't necessarily, there's a lot of information in what the three of us have told you tonight. If you can figure out force of personality and combine that with what Richard was saying about give it room to breathe, and then combine that with what I was saying by tuning in to those breathing moments. When you leave a room hanging for 10 seconds, you want that room to hang on what you're going to say next. They don't want you to think that you forgot what your place was, or that you forgot where you were. You want that room to be waiting for that next sentence out your mouth. So that's it. Take that time and tune into the energy that you are creating, because when you're pitching, you are creating a new energy. Michael said people might hear 150 pitches in a week. What that means is when you walk into a pitch room, you might be the 12th person in that room today, which means that room is going to have residual energy from every pitch that took place there that day before you. You need to reset, right? You need to reset the room.
Setting.
You need to basically what you're doing when you walk into a pitch is you're resetting the room. You're resetting the air in the room, and you're tuning that room to the energy that you need it to be at.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, it's just I have to if at that point in my career, when I do go into a room, command the room and demand their attention in a positive way, because they, like you guys saying, they may have heard 13, 14, 15 pitches that day, but I want my pitch to be the one like, damn, his energy was like on point. And, and I want them to be like that twist that you guys saw. I want to be like, man, that was a great, that, I didn't see it coming. I want that oomph, and in order to get that is I need to command the room with personality, not necessarily mine, but just feeding off their vibes as well.
The personality of the pitch.
Right. Yeah.
Which needs to feel like it's you 1,000%.
Yeah.
So if that means, there's a million ways to command a room, but the idea is if you've done a good job tuning people into your energy that's required for that pitch, then they won't know you've done it.
Bingo.
There's a friend of mine, and he would pitch, and he always, and it's actually very instructive, he would always construct his pitch like 2 sentences, maybe 3, with a cliffhanger at the end. At every 2 or 3 sentences. And what was interesting is humans are so irrevocably curious that we will turn in, you got TikTok and social media and headlines and this and Twitter. And I mean, that's just an exemplar of curiosity. But when you draw them into storytelling, that's such an innate, galvanic DNA response for human beings that, having that cliffhanger, when I remember pitching only one time with the guy, but literally somebody had to get up and take a call, and the guy says, "Don't say another word. I'm going to be right back."
Oh,
with 200 people there, he goes, "You had to wait until he came back."
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be, you got to find your own tool set. I think Cameron said it really well. When look, we could give you all the input in the world, but it's got to be good for you. He said that one of the sessions. You take what we have and use it or not use it, but it's got to be true to you, authentic. If you have no authenticity, people suss that out so quick, right? If you believe and don't believe something. I mean, we could all do that for the most part. Although Richard screwed with all of us pretty darn good there, but that's another story.
And then another truth to the story too, when I brought up the very beginning, is I'm a military veteran myself, and I suffer from that and all the aspects.
There you go, Jack.
That's it.
There you
That's
go.
it.
There you go.
Boom.
Just did it.
Yep.
Just start off with that.
Yeah.
Oh well, I didn't see. Yeah. Oh,
no.
Mic drop.
Stop. That's what you start off with. I mean,
Yeah.
You're a hero. I mean, you're an American hero. So, I mean, you put your life on the line for our freedom. And it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, everyone agrees with that. You start off with something like that. By the way, this.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I think it's, and then because your script deals with PTSD and stuff. So it's a good way to get them to go, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If your script was a comedy, it'd be different. You know what I mean?
Right.
But this seemed a little bit about kind of like there's a lot of you in this, So
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey, everybody. Thank you. What do you got? Hey, everybody. Thanks for taking the time. Veterans like me, we deal with PTSD on a regular basis. And that is what inspired Faceless.
Damn.
There you go.
Damn.
Let me
I'm
tell you.
going to rewatch this literally tomorrow, tonight, and take down notes. Literally. This is.
You walk into a room and you combine Richard's delivery and tone with personal experience. You read the energy. You take Michael's advice, and you walk in and you say, "Thanks so much for taking the time." There's a lot of veterans out there who are struggling with PTSD every single day, and I know a little bit about that from my own experiences in the military. One of the things that has helped me process my own experiences has been writing stories like Faceless.
Wow.
Now I want to hear. What the fuck is Faceless?
Yeah.
Now I want to hear. Right? I mean,
right.
So there you go.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I mean,
great job, by the way, though.
Thank
Great
you.
job, Jack.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank
Well
you.
done.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Bye, guys.
I think Jack really killed it.
I think did a good job. He was definitely prepared. You know, it's challenging finding your footing in a lot of areas of life. And I remember when I did stand-up comedy the very first time, man. I'm telling you, I drank like 5 quarts of water and didn't piss a teaspoon. It was like I sweated like you can't believe. You know, you're up there on that stage all alone. You know, I woke up the night before 3 times changing my shirt. I sweating while I'm sleeping. I mean, you know, I literally been in fist fights and knife fights when I've been less scared. But you're up there and you go, people are like, you know, and sometimes you do these jokes and you go, okay, that worked. Oh, I'm doing really well over here. This is going well, you know, and you start riffing with people and diving into the audience because it's highly counterintuitive. If your material is not working, you dive into the audience.
Yep.
You can't be angry at the audience. You have to dive into the audience. And, you know, I do tell people, I go, look, it's learn or succeed. And one time I said a joke, and you know when you hear there's ice in a glass and there's a point where the ice melts and it breaks.
Yeah.
You know? So I heard that during one of my jokes.
Oh.
And and so you kind of sit there and go, now there's a lesson in humility, you know, and just going, well, I learned a lot, and I think I did it about 50 times, you know, we get up. And somewhere around 15 to 16, 17, 18, somewhere around 20, you know, you start to get a rhythm, but it's persevering. Perseverance is such a key. You know, one disappointment is nothing for people that have been worked for a long time. But somewhere around 15, 16, 18, something like that, you're going, oh, fuck you people. Okay, come on, buddy. What the hell's going on with all the facial hair on this audience, you know? And you start messing around with people and you hit that little rebellious streak or whatever you find just to go, and I'm going to screw with you, you know? And and it's just one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get at it, you know? And I'm sure Richard's probably done some auditions where you're like, I don't want to go on this fucking thing. Oh, fuck. Okay, I got to go. My agent's sending me. You go in and you go, I don't give a shit at all. You go in and you do it, and they go, you were brilliant. And you're like, what? I don't give a shit. And you're so relaxed, maybe, that they're like, no, man, you're just like into character. We can tell. And you're like, no, I don't give a shit.
Right? We talked about that the other day, and that's one of the reasons the 3 of us are who we are. I mean, the three people on the screen right now, we know exactly where our I don't give a fuck is located.
Yeah.
And you know, what do you think about that, Richard? What do you think about what Michael just said?
Well, I mean, I'll just bring up a little snippet on the audition for 21 Jump Street. I mean, literally, there had to be. I didn't go into the first group of sessions. I went into like the second, even though I only did a couple things. But there was like 1,000 people auditioning for that. It got down to 4 people. I'm not going to name the guys, but they're all 3 of them are really big actors now, and 2 guys did the show. But I remember going in for the tape read. To put us on tape for Fox, and I remember Steve Beers was there, Blakeney was there, Nuss was there, and I remember them giving me sides, and they're Wise Guy sides. Wise Guy was on the air at the time, I said, "What the hell is this? This isn't Jump Street side. This isn't Booker side. This isn't Booker." I go, just read it and do your take on it. I said, all right. So I sat down in a chair, got up, pushed the camera away, and I said, fuck you. I'm out of here. And I left, and Eric Blake, and he said, that's Booker. Right there. Because only Booker would do that. All the other guys read and did their thing, did the wise guy sides and everything. I'm the only one because I left quick. I was in there for 3 minutes. They're like, "What happened?" I go, "It's down to 3 guys, and you guys went between one of you guys." So, I'm out of here. It was bullshit. And I got a call. I was at a friend, Giuseppe Franco's. I was at his hair salon. Got a call at his hair salon. They tracked me down that I got the character. I was like totally surprised. Totally
Wow,
surprised.
there we go.
Yeah.
That's it.
I want to ask you about the story that you told on the spot about the old lady. How did you know how to control, and I hope Jack's still watching, how did you know how to control everybody who was watching you? Not just Michael and me and Jack, but how did you know how to read the energy of everybody else who was tuning in? Because literally in the comments, you had every single person watching, hook, line, and fucking sinker. How do you vibe that?
It's funny. That's a really good question. I tend to be able to I've done this for so long, and my imagination is pretty big that I can make anything kind of real. He was talking about what he was talking about, but I wanted to totally switch gears to something that was kind of relevant, kind of like a nice deed. But, and when you deal with someone like that, like an elderly lady that like kind of, with the coffee and stuff and how nice she was. And then we got in the car and then basically I'm thinking about 5 minutes ahead of the story already, writing into my brain, and those pauses I take is me writing ahead to come up with the next thing to kind of go here. And then I was going to keep it going, but then I said, I got to stop here. So, I mean, when she looked at me and she kind of smiled and kind of looked at me, then when I said the thing with her eyes, turning red, and then when she opened her mouth, all I saw was fangs, and that would freak anybody out,
Yeah, but the timing was what was killer, because when like you were like, and her eyes turned red, and me personally, I was still going with it at that point. I was like, that line was in the process of creating the shift in me, because I was with you so reality based up until that moment, and then I was literally having the thought like, did he just say her eyes turned red? And then you were like, and the fangs came out, and I was like, motherfucker.
Because basically where I was going to go, Michael, and George, where I was going to go was her eyes welled up. And she had a tear in her eye. And basically, because I set it up with when her house is basically everywhere, basically homeless.
Yeah.
And when she looked at me and her eyes turned red, I was going to go, and she welled up and started talking to me. And I, held her hand. I said, it's going to be okay. I said, we'll find you a place. It's going to be all right. And she, I could have went, where she said, I looked at you and I saw my son. I go, what happened to where's your son? And she says, he died about 5 years ago. That's who I used to live with. He took care of me. I mean, that could have went that way.
Sure.
Right.
But I had to cut it off with the vampire red eyes,
Yeah, that was a good move. That was good. That was a good, quick.
Perfect. It was a punchline, and Michael was talking about stand-up comedy, and and that's an interesting thing too. And let's go back to Michael on this question.
That's the hardest thing to do, stand-up comedy.
Oh,
that's right. But let's hear it. Let's go back to Michael on
Yeah.
this question, and then we'll come back to you on this question too, Richard. Horror and comedy are two ends of the same spectrum.
I think that's they have relationships. Absolutely. Punchlines. Unexpected twists and turns, laughter and shrieking. How close are they when somebody will have a laugh and then they'll have a shriek, and it kind of has this kind of same physiologies involved when you put it into a physical state. So I definitely think there's some relationship there. And then also the fact that people will go to a movie, get scared to pieces, and then laugh because they got scared.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right?
I believe that
Oh, you got me. Oh, you know.
I believe horror and comedy share a heartbeat. A punchline is a kill. A kill is a punchline. It is the setup. It's Hugh Grant racing through an airport, or Michael Myers tracking somebody down. Right?
Yeah.
It's a timing. It's a heartbeat. What do you think about the importance of that, Michael?
I definitely think so. A lot of people here have talked about that there's X number of kills, X number of minutes. And I think you have to have something in stand-up, whatever. It depends if you're observational comedy, if you're, what style are you really doing here? But some have a little longer setups, but there is a rhythm you have to have. There's an expectation. And certainly in a horror film, you have it because I'm getting bored. Well, you got to keep the butts in the seats just from a commercial, craft-driven enterprise, right? And the same with comedy. I had this, and the spontaneity. The interesting thing about stand-up is that, in and of itself, it is an artistic form that will be created right then and never created again. That given moment, you might have a routine you do. You have a set, could be polishing it, but it's changing a little. The rhythm changes. The room's a little different. You might just take out some material for Florida versus Pennsylvania. You have a different kind of approach. So it has a certain living quality to it. It's very fascinating.
I agree.
And the spontaneous creation of I was there and I saw it to get that belly laugh is what I think attracts people. And the same with horror. I was with all these people. We all got scared about this one thing that shocked the hell out of us. So I definitely think there's a relationship between these forms.
Now, Richard, I want to ask you the same question, but if you guys don't mind, after we do this question, I would like to bring up our own David Madison and let him give us he's requested an impromptu 1-minute pitch, if that'd be all right with you guys.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, Richard, what do you think about horror and comedy being two ends of the same spectrum, and how important is that heartbeat?
It's so important. I mean, there's such a fine line between someone laughing hysterically or just crying buckets. I mean, it's like this thing. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
And I think with comedy, either it works. I mean, like I've done some movies that are comedies that either it works or it doesn't. It's the hardest. It's not like you can do like 15 takes. You know what I mean? It's different than stand up, because stand up, I mean, basically you're just ripping your chest open and like, okay, here I am.
Stab me now.
Yeah. And I think with horror, I mean, one of my favorite movies I think are the Evil Dead ones, because they combine horror and comedy, but they're very similar emotions as far as laughing hysterically or being horrified, I mean, because it's all crying, laughing, scared, or I mean, I always feel that we always have all those things right they're always at the tip of your fingertips. I mean, anything can trigger it. Anything. I mean, I just think with comedy and horror, they're linear in the respect that I think that it triggers an emotion and a feeling that, like, I mean, I've been scared to death in things where I've laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then I've laughed so hard I've cried my eyes out. You know what I mean? It's just the makeup of the human mind and the human emotion is such a complex thing. But as far as between two genres, they definitely have a similar heartbeat with them, and that's why I mean, but I still think comedy is probably the hardest thing to do.
Hell yeah. You know, the best saying I ever heard about comedy? Comedy is the hardest thing in the world to make funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was the actor that said, I think on his deathbed, I'm trying to remember who it was. It wasn't John Barrymore, but might have been probably one of those actors like with Thelma Todd or, something like that. And on his deathbed, I think said, "Dying is easy, comedy is hard."
Yeah.
And literally, it's priceless when you see it clicking. You see it like the Billy Wilders, the Ernst Lubitsch. You see these amazing moments that you could still recall them and start laughing. I mean, things like, I think the first time I saw Mrs. Doubtfire, you watch Some Like It Hot. You watch A Fish Called Wanda with, that zany shit. I remember where I sat because everybody was literally almost going to throw themselves out of the seat laughing so hard going, this is just nutty. I can't even believe this, So there's an exuberance you get with laughter and fear that you don't get out of drama. You don't get out of a more middling action. We anticipate that there is action that's going to happen. Even suspense, if you look at great suspense movies with Hitchcock, he would say, well, what's the difference between suspense and action? Well, two guys talking at a restaurant and then bomb goes off. That's action. Two guys talking at a restaurant, somebody leaves the bomb at the table next door and it's ticking. That starts suspense because one guy gets up and goes, I got to go now. And he goes, wait, just give me another minute. And we're like, no, go. But these are subdued emotions, not the exuberance of our lungs and our physiology just overwhelming us.
That's right.
Spontaneously. You don't get that except in those, I think.
Gunny says that in the end, we're all human. We all experience every emotion together, just in different circumstances. And I think that's basically what we're all saying, Gunny, is, it's all a matter of perspective. But what's interesting is all of the genre titles that you've just thrown out and everything we've talked about, horror, comedy, suspense, thriller, action, they're all extremes. They deal in extremes. In fact, there's only a few that don't, like drama. And, people don't say, oh my God, I was biting my nails through that drama, right? They say I was biting my nail through that thriller, right? They are extremes, and extremes have a cadence. They have a heartbeat. You want to make sure that it's not an arrhythmic heartbeat. It is, no matter what it is, no matter what you're going for, you have to find that heartbeat. Is it a heartbeat that's running on a treadmill? Is it a heartbeat that is walking through a park? Is it a heart? You've got to find what that cadence is for your film. It's not just taking scenes and throwing them together. It's not just taking ideas and throwing them together. You've got to find a cadence. And for anybody who isn't familiar with what a cadence is, I actually have a playlist. Gunny, you'll appreciate this. I have a playlist of Marine cadences that I actually listen to time to time. And there is a unity and a rhythm that comes with listening to it. And if you listen to it enough, you reach a cadence yourself. You find your breathing finds a certain cadence. Your talking finds that cadence, and your storytelling will find that cadence as well. So anyway, listen, let's bring David Lee Madison up here.
David, you ready?
Hey, gentlemen. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. How are you?
I'm very well, gentlemen. It's actually, I always kind of feel like the ugly herring who's not allowed to be with the cool kids in the schoolyard. So this one time I thought, as I was sitting here, the two sticks that are inside my head that are getting increasingly smaller as I get older started to rub together. And I came up with a pitch that's, I promise it's only going to be less than 30 seconds, but it's going to rock your world. You guys are going to be like, let's get some funding for this. Let's get this bad boy going. All right. It's about a maverick filmmaker and his trusty cohort, Joe, who build a virtual empire. And Joe and his trusty maverick filmmaker friend
Or crusty.
every week inspires, teaches, and shows people the right way to do things, and also helps people through their trials and tribulations of life. I think that would make a great movie. It's got a little bit of a pump up the volume vibe, but I think it'd make a great movie.
It sounds like madness. Who the fuck would try something like that?
I don't know. All I know, there's a second part to it, because after the show is so great, everybody loves it. But the two hosts show mercy to this buffoon who comes on after them. He's kind of like comic relief. But when I was writing the script over the last 10 minutes, I decided that the only person I want to cast is that person, and I think Brad Pitt would be perfect. And no offense to you, Grieco, I think Johnny Depp for you would be great. For George, I would have gotten Wilford Brimley, but sadly he just died. For Joe, I was going to call Jesus if he was available. And you, Mr. Mandaville, you scream Eugene Levy.
Man, you really just brought this whole thing right to a peak and then just crashed and burned it.
with aviation gas right there.
Oh. You know, I've been told a million times never cast in your pitches, because they may not know who you're casting. And I understand that Brad Pitt and Eugene Levy may not be famous, but I think they would be perfect for it. I love you guys. I just wanted to say hello. I never actually got to say hello to Richard and Michael. And and honestly, you guys are doing an amazing service to filmmakers. You could see in Jack's face how important that was to him. And you guys handled it wonderfully in a way where you taught him, where he understood. And you guys should be proud for conducting yourselves the way you do. I'll see you guys at 11.
David, thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
What's going on your show tonight?
Oh, if for the 2 or 3 stragglers who stay up to watch my train wreck, I will be having WWE superstar Gene Snisky. But sadly, Daniel Ferrans, who is a great writer who wrote Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, and a whole bunch of films, he was having a technical difficulty, so we'll reschedule him for a later show. But we'll have fun with Gene Snitsky, and you never know what surprise celebrity guests show up on my mess of a program. So, you know, just tune in at 11.
I can't wait.
It was a pleasure meeting you, gentlemen.
Nice meeting you, David. You take care.
You too.
Now wait a minute. Can we discuss my pitch a year ago?
No.
No, we can't discuss my pitch a year ago. Apparently worked.
No.
No.
No. This is when I bow out.
Yeah, Joe. No, Joe pitched me on the Indie Brigade a year ago, just over a year ago. We just had our 1-year episode.
Oh, that's great.
Our 1-year anniversary.
That's great. It seems like it goes darn well, and you have a very devoted following, a lot of great energy here, and I think it's interesting that it's on a bit of the cusp of a sea change in the industry on so many levels, because I mean, I went to see that Smart Stage on Wednesday, and I mean, I think you could do if you write the script with what the function is, and you think it through. If you plan, there's a lot of projects you could do. It's just stunning. I actually was looking at mocap suits, and I had a friend of mine who did a bunch of stuff on Avatar and Jungle Book. He goes, "Hey, I got a friend of mine, and he just got a mocap suit and he's just playing. And, he'll make a trailer with you. I mean, he wants to do something. So here he was just throwing himself over in his living room in his mocap suit, capturing the data, and then just putting it on. You could see it on his computer, building what looks like a fall off a building, at least 50, 80 feet. Because as it starts to tumble, if you just do a throw, but then the tumble is elongated off a building, all of a sudden you've got a little scene there. But I mean, how much would someone? I mean, literally, he's thrown himself maybe 4 feet in the air over or something, but not. But when you put it together with all the other software, and the software is interesting because it's this certain accessibility that once you put in your time, you can create something that's going to excite somebody and goes, oh, now I see what you mean. Oh, I like that. That's very good. That's good thinking. It's a way to. It's clay. And it's fascinating. So I really think the Brigade serves a lot of thoughts that get a lot of stories out there that you wouldn't have in a hierarchical, institutional-driven media world. I think it really serves it well. It's no longer this kind of pyramid-like structure. And you see that it's so self-evident with so much that's out in other shows around the world. And I watch foreign shows a lot more than I watch American television. I'm watching some show that's shot in Russia about a crazy police detective. It's called The Method. But it's just fascinating to see another culture and how you do a police show in their world. I find that very
on my list to watch.
What's that?
That's in my playlist. My, what do you call it? What do the kids call it? My queue.
Oh, the watch list.
It's in my queue. Yeah, watch list queue.
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting. It's got a different angle, and it's you're invited into a world you wouldn't see, Russian police and etc. And I think that's utterly fascinating, rather than the predictable American sitcom such and such show. I mean, we've gotten so used to that.
Well, that's the whole thing of the system. What I've said this on the show before. What's the singular purpose of a bureaucracy is to sustain itself.
That's so true.
And that is not just in a business or a number crunching thing. The creative content algorithm of big budget studio stuff is by definition a form of a bureaucracy.
True.
The entire purpose is to simply sustain itself.
Very Kafka-esque, right?
Richard and I talk about this from time to time too.
Somebody's stamping a book, right?
Yeah, and that's what content has become. And Richard has turned, has gotten so many projects that he has called me up and said, "You won't believe this fucking thing I just got today." That it is just the same shit recycled over and over. They keep sending. I mean, how do you feel? Like, what are your thoughts on that, Richard?
I think right now, Michael brought up a good point with the circle of filming now, and when you're talking about that stage too, is that basically what they did? Some of the stuff with Mandalorian,
absolutely.
Right?
In fact, the guys were on
Mandalorian.
These guys did Mandalorian.
But I think when you deal with big studios, because I've done big studio films and stuff like that, you have a hierarchy up there, and everything trickles down. Yet they always have the final say. No matter who you are, I don't care who you are. You can be the biggest director in the world. They have the final say. It's interesting now with what's going on with filmmaking. I think, especially in the independent world, it's given us more opportunity to create content that the studios are not doing right now, because they usually do, like a big studio do maybe 9 movies a year or 6 movies a year, and that's it.
Yeah.
And back in the 90s and 2000s, it'd be like 16 movies a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I think the way things are going, we're talking maybe some studios are maybe doing 3 movies.
Yep.
So the indie world and if you get your funding and stuff like that, it's a great opportunity to make a lot of films that wouldn't normally be made, and also take notice from the Warner Brothers, Universals, the Paramounts, the Sonys, and stuff like that about grabbing your content and distributing that, because they're not doing it. And if you do something for 1.5 and they look at it on a cost-effective budget, and they spend like $1 million in P&A for a $2.5 million budget, you're looking at, at least to them, you're looking at instead of doing something $30 or $40 million, they got it on the low end. So I think there's an opportunity for films that are interesting and stuff to grab their attention.
I agree.
More so, like when I had Clinton Road, I brought up to Universal. We got to the final pass of the audiences and stuff as far as test audiences, but we were going against Blumhouse and stuff like that, and we were, it was a $200,000 film, and we did a good job for $200,000, and it looked a lot bigger. But I think if it was set now today, bringing it there, it'd have a lot different. The end result would have been different. I think.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I think it gives us an opportunity to make those calls to those people, which I know a lot of them, and say, "Hey, I got this movie. We did it. We finished. This is what we spent on it," and they'll take it more seriously and take a look at it. So I think it's a great opportunity for independent film to flourish right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree too.
Well, gentlemen, we're just about out of time.
All right.
Wow, that went quick.
I know, right?
Really did.
Guys, I cannot thank you enough for being part of the pitch sessions. I cannot tell you guys both how much I love you both. Thank you so very, very much. And hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to see
Call
you,
if
Michael.
you need bail. Call if you need bail.
Oh, so Michael's the one you call if you need bail. Grieco's the one you call if you need to get busted out.
Well said. Well said.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys. So what I didn't mention, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to just, Neil Goss brought up a comment there at the end about that you put on the screen. Creativity can't be stymied, but opportunity can be. Big studios are not happy with obstacles to quality production being removed, so they're going to try suffocating the indie by bankrupting their own cinema, bankrupting then owning cinema and controlling access to VOD. Neil, there are a lot of people that think like you about that particular topic right now, and without taking a side on either side on that argument, what I will say is this: even if that's true, they will never stop the motherfucking outlaw indie. We're the ones who fucking built so much shit, and they ain't gonna fucking keep us down. So the outlaw indie is where it's at, and even if that were to happen, the motherfucking outlaws will find a way. What were you gonna say, Joe?
Well, I was gonna say is like when I mentioned my pitch earlier, I failed to mention that you may have been inebriated and just kind of agreed on a whim, and I had it recorded. But anyway, that's beside the point. What else do you have going on?
I don't know what you're talking about. You did the teapot dance, and you had me at the teapot.
I did the truffle shuffle or whatever the hell it was on Goonies.
What do you think? Tonight was a pretty great show, huh?
Excellent. I'm looking at some of these comments, and I'm almost thinking that this pitch thing needs to be done maybe once a season.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
We can do that. And you know what? If we could only put those virtual stages inside like a briefcase, that would be pretty cool. What
briefcase would that be?
Just, some sort of random briefcase. I don't know.
Just random. Wait a second. I know we're going to go soon, but there's a random briefcase kind of.
There is actually, isn't there? Huh. What do you know about that? I wonder what that. Well, who put that there? What the fuck? Is there anything you want to say to people?
Stay tuned for David Madison's The End of the Night, and make sure you join us next week. It's the season finale.
Yes, it is.
You go ahead and pitch that, please.
Be sure and join us next week. It's the season finale.
And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yes, please. And thank you, every single one of you outlaws, for joining us tonight and giving us another one of your Friday nights. Coming up in a very short, 13 minutes, David Madison will be chatting with Gene Snisky. So please make sure you stick around for that. It's sure to be a great fucking time. And thank you, David, for coming on and for your very kind words. I love you, brother. And are you ready?
Yeah, and I believe Scott Schiaffo is going to be joining him also. So,
I wasn't sure he wanted people to know that. So, way to just go ahead and ruin the fucking surprise.
Damn it!
Spoiler alert! Its name is Joe. All right, everybody. As usual, fuck off till next time. To be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
Mr. Madison.
Mr. Ridgely, how are you, my friend?
I am well. How are you?
I am spectacularly well.
That is good to hear.
Hi, Robin. How would you say that last name? Deuce?
I don't know.
Douce? Is she French? Douce.
Well,
Hi, Robin.
Australia.
She's from Australia. So do us a favor, Robin. Go into your bathroom and flush the toilet and film it for us so we could see it all go in the opposite direction. That's like wicked cool.
Wow.
What?
What?
No, I don't want to see what's in the toilet, Joe. Don't make this gross. Just the
What's
toilet
the-
water.
Of all the things from Australia, that's what I mean. The water going
Well,
in.
what else? You want me to ask her to go out with her phone and look for, like, an iguana? No. The toilet thing's easy.
Why not tell her to go to a bar and get a Foster's?
Okay. A George Foster's?
Foster's beer.
Yeah, no. I got it. By the way, it was a wonderful show. What do you think of my pitch? You think there's any chance those guys are going to buy into my movie idea?
Oh my God, it'll never happen. I mean, touche, my friend.
Who in the hell would watch that crap?
Right? Oh, yeah, no doubt. Oh, crap. I don't have a hat on.
You look incredibly studly, my friend. You have nothing to be concerned about.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's after 11. This is the time when everybody's allowed to just let their hair down.
Literally.
Hello, Terry. How are you? Hi, Michael. Hi, Squared Circle Squares, and Tim, and Lance, and Libby. I hope everybody had a great week. I am super excited about something other than the great, legendary WWE superstar Gene Snisky joining us tonight. Hi, John. I got in the mail, delivered to me today, a case of Big Red Soda. Do you know anything about Big Red Soda, Joe?
I know about Big Red Gum.
Big Red Soda is like if God himself made a soda, it would be Big Red Soda. And it's only available in one state in the entire country. It's only, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure it's only available in one state, and I think Lance knows what state that is. If it's in other states, let me know. But Big Red, as far as I know, is only available in Texas. So I had them shift me a couple cases, and I'm going to pop this bad boy open right now.
Okay, so describe to me what Big Red, for those of us who don't know what it tastes like, or
when I was you know what's funny? I'm one of those people who sniffs their soda when they pour it. Do you do that, like to make the bubbles go up? They sell Big Red around here. Where's around here? I have no idea where that is.
He said he was from Thailand.
Thailand, okay. Read the ingredients. No,
Yeah.
Libby, I want to enjoy it. Big Red Soda. When I was, it's a cream soda. No, actually, it's not. Come visit me in Texas. I know, John. It's everywhere. When I was in San Antonio last, I was like mainlining this shit into my veins. Big Red Soda, Joe, is if you imagine drinking bazooka gum in a can. Now
So
it
the
sounds
flavor lasts for 3 seconds?
No. That's Fruit Strike gum.
Okay.
It's like a bubble gum tasting soda. And bottoms up, everybody.
Salute.
It's so damn good. I don't get it up here in Northeast in New York or in Pennsylvania or anything. So like a mental patient, I had them ship me 10 cases. Like I'm going to drink all that soda before the expiration date. But I'll definitely try. Big Red party for everybody tonight.
Alrighty then. I remember we lived in North Carolina for a short period of time, and there was another red soda similar to that. I can't remember what it was offhand now, so it's probably irrelevant. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think Big Red is actually specifically a Texas soda. I would have to. I'm sure Lance could answer that. Or what about
they have it in Oklahoma.
Oh, they have it in Oklahoma. Okay, so what the hell do I know? It's everywhere. Everywhere but where I live. It's not in Pennsylvania. It's not in New York. It's not in New Jersey. It's not in Connecticut. It's not in Maryland. So maybe it's in Texas and Oklahoma. All right, enough of my stupidity. Joe, I want to share with you guys a super fun toy. Now, I'm getting old, and I think we're up to like show 18 now or something. And I don't know, if I ever start showing you something that I showed you guys already, please let me know so that the embarrassment can move on to some other thing I'm going to embarrass myself about. Okay. This toy is from 1972. So it's almost 50 years old. I think you saw me, don't mistake, because I think when I got this many years ago, Joe, you seen me open it like a little schoolgirl when I got it on a live stream. It wasn't our show.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I didn't show this on the show. But this is the original Star Trek bridge. Did I do this on this show, Joe?
No.
I think I did the...
You did something else.
That's What?
That's Mego?
This is the original Mego in the box. I think I did the command console, the communications command console. Hi, me. I hope you will. Now, do you guys, every kid back in the 70s had this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful toy. And that's just the box it came in. Here's the actual bridge. Has a cool picture of the Enterprise on the back of it. See that bad boy? And on the front of it, it has a little, let me see if I can figure this out backwards. A little, hell, this thing hasn't been open since 1972. No. Okay, it opens up like this. And inside was, you could see all the captain's chair and where, let me go this way, where Mr. Sulu and Chekhov sit. And that picture of that green-headed alien guy, there are a little like 4x6 cards that are on hooks so that you can always change what's being seen on the command console. And another cool feature is on the side over here, you would put your action figure in that little hole right there, and you'd spin the top, which is a button on the top, the blue button. And if you press the green button, the action figure would appear like the character just beamed onto the Enterprise. If you press the red button, the character would disappear. So there is, I know a lot of people out there who are, let's just say, over 35, who absolutely loved this toy, and who are probably passing out seeing it, A, in this condition, and B, in its original packaging. Back when toys were awesome. Thank you, Damon. I agree with you 100%. I had the Planet. Oh, yeah, Pat, that was awesome. The Planet of the Apes Migos. They actually had, I remember the Cornelius had real fur. It was super wicked.
The coolest thing about Mego, in my opinion, growing up was there was no DC or Marvel license. They could do whatever the hell they wanted.
You know, it's so funny. Back when they did that, they would do commercials, and it would be like Superman fighting Spider-Man while Thor. It was like it was one big happy superhero family. And Sean, yes, well, I'll come down to Texas and play. But here's the deal: I'll bring all my toys. I'll come over and play. And I don't want drinks. I don't want booze. Just hook me up with some Big Red and some. What the hell is that? There's like a beaver, or it's like a chain of like giant gas stations in Texas. I think they're called Beavers or something, and they have like the best bakeries in them. Somebody from Texas will let me know what that is. Here's another. I don't want to keep Gene long because he's a great guy, and it's not cool for me to keep him past 11:10 when I said I was. But here's another toy about 10 years ago came out. This is the Deadite Ash from Evil Dead 2. And this is the rare Deadite Ash with the interchangeable heads, and it also has his girlfriend's head, and the tape recorder and the chainsaw Deadite Ash. So that's another cool. So I won't keep I won't keep you with my silly toys anymore. I get excited over this stuff. I know that some of you guys out there are like, Bucky's, thank you, John. Thank you. Bucky. I don't know how the hell I got Beaver, but I guess it shows you where my mind is. All right, let me take a deep breath.
Yeah. Oh, Jack, I know the creator of that show. Very good guy. You ever see
Sweet.
that series?
Yeah, I did.
I actually did a show with him.
Oh, sweet. Well, sadly, one of our guests tonight, Daniel Ferranz, really wanted to join us tonight. But sadly, he was only going to be able to do it via audio because on his phone, his camera was malfunctioning. So we chose, instead of having a train wreck like we did last week with Ken Sagos, we were going to let Mr. Ferranz come on when his camera was working properly, and we can give him the proper time and the love for somebody who writes, Halloween movies. And thank you. And I'm super thrilled about my first guest. My first guest tonight, I got to work with him on a film called Middle Village. Uncle Scott Schiaffo was in that film too. He's also in the hit horror film 100 Acres of Hell, and a wrestling icon, wrestling legend, WWE superstar. But most of all, he's a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gene Snisky.
What's up, guys? How you doing, Dave?
Hey, Gene, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
Absolutely my pleasure. Now, Gene, do you have the same hookup that you had earlier? Because you're coming in very choppy.
it. Yeah, I do. Same one.
No worries.
Let me see if I can make it a little better. Let me try something.
All righty.
Yeah, 'cause,
Did we lose him?
Not yet.
Hello?
Possibly.
I'm having incredibly bad luck with my guest, Joe.
better or worse? Same.
Gene, we see you in like little blurts.
Not like it was earlier tonight. This is a rare up-close picture of Gene's hand.
A wrestling legend. Just think
How
of
about
how
now?
many. Oh, you look better now. I think so. Don't you think, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll try to work around if you freeze. So just bear with us, Gene. Gene,
No worries.
I want to ask you, my very first question for you tonight is, tell us a little bit. I know you were a spectacular football player in your college days. Tell us a little bit about back when you played college football, where you played and what position, and what pro teams were interested in you as a professional football player.
I played collegiately at Missouri, and then I got invited to the NFL Combines. I went and worked out for all the teams there at the Combines, and then signed as a free agent with the Chargers and went out to camp in San Diego and was there for a few months, and then tore my labrum in my shoulder, had surgery, came back, played in the CFL in '95 for Birmingham Barracudas of the American Canadian Football League. They did an expansion in the United States at the time. And then the shoulder re-aggravated, so I retired from football. And then in the end of '96, I started training to wrestle.
Sweet. Now, when you were playing, when you were in camp with the Chargers, was that? I don't assume that was that. Who was the quarterback at that time?
Stan Humphries and Bobby Ross was the coach. Yep.
You know, it's funny because I think we're around similar ages, and I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to insult you, because when I think of San Diego Chargers football, I think of Dan Fouts, and I didn't have any idea. I thought Fouts might have retired in maybe '95 or '96, and maybe you guys crossed paths. So I was going to ask you if that was the guy who was there.
But his receiver at the time, Kellen Winslow, is a fellow Mizzou graduate.
All right, and I think his son is playing now too, isn't he? Kellen Winslow Jr.
I think the kid's done now. I think he got hurt or something, but he was playing for a little while. I think he was with the Dolphins last, if I'm not mistaken.
Sweet. All right, so after you play college football and you play professional football, you find yourself getting hooked up with professional wrestling. Tell us how that occurred, And who was the genius who saw in you what made you a WWE superstar?
Well, I started training with the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Camp in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And that would have been about 97, 98. And then 2001, we did a military base tour all around the world, pretty much. We were in Hawaii, Japan, South Korea, Guam, all throughout the Middle East, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Qatar, Egypt, where it was cool because I got to actually ride a camel at the pyramids, so that was cool. And just kind of took off from there. They brought me in, took me under their wing. I started training a lot with Samu off his son and his other son, Lloyd, and just picked it up really fast. I was fortunate. You know, I've always been an athlete. I've been playing sports as long as I can remember. And, you know, just fortunate to pick it up fast and learn the physicality of it. And, you know, just got, as they say, you got to be at the right place at the right time. And I was at the right place at the right time. And Alpha got me a dark match up in Wilkes-Barre. And did well enough to earn a contract. And then the next June, I moved to Louisville, where the training camp was at the time. And then just busted my ass and tried to get as good as I could. And an opportunity arose for me that September. I went and did the story angle with Kane, and the rest, as they say, is history. Just kind of took off from there.
Now, Joe, you just momentarily ago put up a picture of Gene wrestling the superstar. I think that is Kane right there. Gene, is that the match you were just speaking of?
Yes, it was. That would be Taboo Tuesday, where Weapons of Choice match, where they picked the steel chain.
Sweet. Now, before you were a wrestling superstar and a football superstar, as a kid, I assume, did you like wrestling?
Oh yeah. I could remember being like 10 years old, flipping through the channels and seeing Hulk Hogan cutting a promo, and I just kind of stopped and was mesmerized by this larger than life character that was just so over the top. And I was always like one of those kind of kids that if you dared me to do something, I would do it just to get a reaction out of people. So I was like, oh man, this is kind of cool. So just kind of always had in the back of my mind that, you know, I wanted to see how far I could go with athletics before I got into wrestling. So I kind of always had it in the back of my mind. And, you know, even in college, my roommate and I would always, like, at Halloween, we'd dress up as a tag team and go out and cause havoc on campus and all kind of stuff. So it was like, as long as I can remember from then on, we always were talking about wrestling or some type of, you know, wrestler or getting into wrestling or something. Hold on here. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
And so it was just always something that was in the back of my mind that I knew I was going to do. I, you know, had the athleticism. I always thought I had the personality. And like I said, you know, if you dared me to do something 9 out of 10 times, I'd probably do it. So, you know, just kind of everything happens for a reason. I'm a firm believer. And, you know, that's just was just the time for that to happen. And I took advantage of it. And 16 years later, we're still here talking about it.
Absolutely. Now, who would you say is your all-time favorite male wrestler?
It's a tough one. All time, probably Hogan, because he got me hooked, like, into watching wrestling, and then from there, you know, I started getting the big dreams of wrestling for WWE at some point in my life.
It's funny because when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to Madison Square Garden. It was once every month that they had the big WWF card back when it was called WWF. And I grew up watching Bruno Sammartino fight like Ivan Koloff and Stan Hansen. And then he lost his belt to Superstar Billy Graham, which like rocked the entire wrestling world. And then there was this young, goofy-looking Irish kid who came along, Bob Backlund, who beat up Superstar Billy Graham, and he held the belt for a long time. And until he lost it to the Iron Sheik, and the Iron Sheik lost it to Hulk Hogan.
Yep. In Madison Square Garden.
In Madison Square, yeah, it was funny because back then every big wrestling match, every big wrestling match, took place in Madison Square Garden when it was more of a regional thing before the WWF took over the entire wrestling world. But it was a lot of fun back then. There was a wrestling match.
That was my bucket list for wrestling when I first got signed with WWE. I wanted to wrestle in Hershey, Allentown, Philly, and Madison Square Garden. And in the first 6 months or 7 months I was with the company, I wrestled in all those spots.
Who was your first opponent at Madison Square Garden? Can you remember?
It was Royal Rumble, I believe. So it was a pay-per-view.
And what did you take somebody on directly, or were you like in a I forget what they call it.
Royal Rumble. A guy comes in every, I think it's 2 minutes, something like that. And then they just keep coming in.
When I was a kid, they had all the, let's say there was a card with 10 matches on it, and there was 20 guys wrestling that night. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the end match, like the feature match, would be all 20 guys in the ring where they would have to throw themselves over the top rope. Were they called Rumbles too back then?
That's a battle royale.
A battle royale, that's right. Yeah. And I remember seeing Bruno Sammartino win battle royals. I remember seeing Haystacks Calhoun winning battle royals. I mean, I think I might, you know what? My problem is, Gene, I always like stuff that's older than like everybody else. So don't mind me. I know you're more of probably Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage generation. Would that be fair?
Yeah. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, there we are. This freaking thing, man. Sorry.
No,
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this new technology. Either that or my finger's too damn fat for the screen and it keeps hitting that one button. But yeah, I mean, like I said, when I first started watching it, it was Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Jake the Snake. So they had such good characters, and I think that's what drew you in, because you got wrapped up in the character. And then, you had your favorite character and you followed his progression. And, it's just more, I don't want to say more entertaining, but more over the top back then. And it just drew you in more, I think. I think the characters today are too plain Jane, compared to those guys.
They're right. And I do agree with you. I think the problem with today's wrestling today also could be that the characters are oversaturated. I mean, it's just always back then it was like Johnny Rods would fight some guy you had no idea where it literally was like the local bartender. And you always found that kind of cool. Like, is Sal the bartender going to beat up Johnny Rods this week? That was
never
cool
happened. Imagine that.
Oh, Dominic DeNucci was awesome. He was one of my favorites. Did you ever get to work? Dominic, I know, teaches at a wrestling school. Did you ever get to work with Dominic as far as being a student of his?
No, I never did, and I don't think I ever met him either. I don't think I did. The farthest back guy, I've done a couple conventions with Bruno Sammartino, and a couple with Ivan Putski, the Polish Power, the Polish Hammer. So there's still a bunch of them floating around. At the bigger conventions, you usually run into them. They're still doing autograph signings and stuff. So it's cool to get to meet all those guys. One guy I wish I would have met that I never got to meet was Macho Man.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. And sadly, the wrestling world just lost a legend in Kamala. I think you probably met him at shows. He seemed to be a really, really wonderful guy. Gene, tell me, who is your favorite all-time female wrestler?
Probably Wendy Richter back in the day.
Oh, I remember
she was like the whole Rock and Wrestling Connection and all that. Remember?
Yeah, she's the one who was. Yeah, she was hooked up with Cyndi Lauper and Roddy Piper. Yeah,
Captain Lou Albano.
Yes, I will have to say my favorite was the Fabulous Moolah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, she came in the ring, and she was old when I was a kid, and she would. She was the one who Wendy Richter defeated. To get the women's championship. I think Moolah had it for like 30 years or something ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to watch. There's a documentary. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or something else, but there's a documentary about Fabulous Moolah and how she started like the women's training camps and how crappy she used to treat the girls and stuff. You got to watch it if you can find it, man. It's really intriguing. I enjoyed it.
Now, who do you think had the best? I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's a word people use. Who do you think had the best gimmick in wrestling history?
Probably the Undertaker, because he's still going, man. He's still recognizable. Everybody knows who the Undertaker is when he comes out. That's got to be hands down the best gimmick in the history of wrestling.
I agree with you. I think it's either the Undertaker or Mick Foley's Mankind character, which didn't have the longevity. But I think it didn't have the longevity just because Mick, had so many. He just beat the shit out of his body. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think if he was still around as Mankind, he would still be a beloved wrestler. Now, Gene, we are a man of many, many talents. I'm going to touch really quickly. I seen you about a year and a half ago. You were at a bodybuilding event, and I think you were doing curls with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, I won the silver medal in the Arnold Sports Fest over in South Africa for the strict bicep curl event.
Sweet. And was Arnold nice to you?
Yeah, Arnold's great. I've met him before. A friend of mine who used to be a chiropractor with the WWE created a great product called Phoenix Kinetic Cream, which I use pretty much every day to keep the old joints limber. Him and I were out at the Arnold in Ohio promoting his product, and he's part of the chiropractic World Chiropractic Union or something it's called, and they get like passes to meet Arnold. So he brought me as one of his guests, and I got to meet him and hang out. He's a cool guy. He's a super nice guy.
Now, I can see you. I know you personally, and we've hung out numerous times. But I see you online all the time, and you're in amazing shape. How do you keep yourself built? Like, I mean, you look like you could step in the ring tonight and literally be in better shape than you were, 15 years ago.
I don't know, man. I just always started working out when I was about 15, and just always enjoyed it. Just always enjoyed the mental challenge of pushing yourself every day and trying to get better. And with being on the road with WWE, it was always, sometimes it was hard to find a gym. So, we'd go to town to town. Usually, you'd find a gym that you could depend on and get a workout in every time you're in that city. But like, it's so tiresome and so hard, and it's like the last thing you want to do when you get home is go to the gym. So I just started accumulating stuff at my house, so I don't have to worry about packing a big bag or bringing my shakes or any of that kind of stuff. Plus, my wife loves working out, so we call it the dungeon. It's our whole downstairs. It's just basically one big gym, and her and I go down there, and I just always enjoyed working out, so it's never been a problem for me to get motivated to do that kind of stuff. And, wrestling's mostly aesthetics. So it's kind of funny, like, if you looked at me when I was playing football as opposed to me when I was wrestling, because it's like I look totally different. I was about 320 pounds when I played football. And when I was wrestling, I was probably about 275, 280. But I was, lean and muscular as opposed to just a big blob of offensive lineman.
Now I see you have these tires in your basement that are literally like 7 feet tall. How much do one of those things weigh?
The heaviest one I have is 700. A buddy of mine used to work for the Monster Truck Jam, and he was down Baltimore getting tires one time, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, do you want one of these Monster Truck tires? I know you like flipping tires." I was like, "Hell yeah!" So he dropped it off right on my driveway, and that thing was right fresh off of a Monster Jam truck, and it's in my basement, and me and my wife flip it and hit it with sledgehammers and all kind of stuff. It's fun.
I will tell everybody out there, Gene literally picks up this giant tire and flings it around like I would pick up a Dunkin' Donut. It's horrifying. So, Gene, tell me, I want to move on from wrestling, but I have one more question about wrestling before we move on to the next things. Is there any chance that we were going to see you in the ring in the WWE again?
At this point in time, I don't have any plans to, but never say never in the wrestling business. I'm involved in a business now with a friend of mine. It's called Priority One Surplus in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. So got a lot of time and energy wrapped up with that. And, it's nice to sleep in my own bed every night. It's nice to have all my own stuff here, my gym, my bed, my wife, all that. So it would take a lot to get me to do it full time, but like I said, the wrestling business, we never say never. If the price is right, there's enough zeros behind the first number. You never know.
Absolutely. So, Gene, you conquer the wrestling world. You're a wonderful college and professional football player, and in the last decade or so, you've tackled acting. I know you did a wonderful job in the great film 100 Acres of Hell. Tell us how that came together.
Funny story. A friend of mine's dad owns a game preserve hunting ranch kind of place, and he happened to be home, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go take a tour of my dad's property. If you want to come with and check it out." I was like, "All right." So the whole time we're driving around, though, I kept thinking to myself, this is perfect for a horror movie. It's all I could think about, just the way the landscaping was and the way that the land was set up, and it was like, man, this would be so good for a horror movie. So I got home that night, and I contacted a partner of mine from 100 Acres of Hell, Jason Kerner, and I was like, "Oh, you got to come up and see this property. It's perfect for a film. We got to do it, yada, yada, yada." So he ended up coming up, brought him over, showed him the property, came back to my house, sat and smoked a cigar or two, and just brainstormed ideas about the film. And the original working title was Manhunt. And then, we came up with the whole synopsis. And, I mean, you're a filmmaker, you know the process. So, we followed the process. And, luckily we're fortunate enough to get it done, because in independent films, you just never know. It took us almost 10 years. And, it was a labor of love. We got it. We did it. And, what a ride.
Yeah, I will tell you, I'm a big horror film nut. And I never thought I'd see the day that the great fight in They Live between Roddy Piper and Brian Keith would be, or was it David Keith? It's something Keith, would be topped. But the fight that you had in 100 Acres of Hell is one of the best fights in cinematic history. The choreography, the brutality, and the way it was shot, the atmosphere was just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful horror film fight.
Well, I'm flattered that you think so. I'm thankful for the kind words. I'm kind of proud of it. I thought it came out really good. We shot that mostly around 3-4 o'clock in the morning in 30 degrees, cold, damp November evening. And I know it wasn't comfortable for the crew or the actors, and everybody went above and beyond. I can't thank them enough. But it's that was a rough night, no pun intended. It was between trying to keep the fire going, excuse me, and getting everything set up and in frame for the fight and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like I said, you know how it is. You're a filmmaker, and oh man, the logistics of it all. Sometimes it's just the stars don't align, so you got to kind of make them align. And that was a fun, rough night. But I think there was a nice crossover between some wrestling stuff and some film fighting. So, hopefully everybody that saw it liked it, and that everybody that does see it enjoys it. But yeah, I'm super proud of that. And thank you for mentioning that. Appreciate it.
No, absolutely. If you guys are, oddly enough, Gene, thousands of people watch this show. And if you haven't seen 100 Acres of Hell yet with the great Gene Snisky, make sure you, I know it just came out on DVD recently and is available at Walmart and other fine DVD distributors. A mutual friend of ours, an absolute hack of an actor, Ernie O'Donnell, is in that movie. And I wanted to ask you, what was it like trying to keep pace with just such a deplorable, horrible human being in Ernie and trying to act with somebody who really just had absolutely no skill?
Nah, he's all right. We had fun. I actually just did another podcast right before yours with him, and It's funny because we were talking about the stories of being in the car, filming the scenes in the car with the guys, and how we laughed and how they need to find the outtakes because the outtakes were probably pretty funny too. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
You know what's funny? Ernie's watching this, I'm sure, and he knows that I'm kidding. I think Ernie's an incredible filmmaker. Did you see his short, the film he made, the short film he just made?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Didn't he win an award for it?
Yeah, I think he's won a couple. He's actually he's really a talented filmmaker and a really funny guy. And so I just had to throw a little shade his way. He's on the show and a friend of the show. So Ernie, you know I love you. I was just yanking your chain. Mr. Ridgely, is Uncle Scott around by any chance?
Mr. Schiaffo, are you available?
I just thought we'd have a fellow deplorable stop in and say hello to you.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, doing well. Yeah, David mentioned the deplorables, and I want to say that I was very impressed with your demeanor on set. You were super pro. You set a tone, and you've made a lot of really awesome suggestions. And I thought that's all. I love seeing somebody who makes a crossover and takes acting seriously.
You know, it's funny, Scott.
Well,
when we were shooting,
I really appreciate that.
When we were shooting that at the beautiful Child's Park in Northeast Pennsylvania, I had you, who I know had acting chops, Gene, who I wasn't sure. Honestly, Gene, you were a wrestler. I didn't know. I had Jax, who was a drummer for Jimmy Buffett, and Edward X. Young, who's just Edward X. Young. He's a. There you go. To your left, you have the great Gene Snisky. Right next to Gene is Edward X. Young. In the center is the hack on this show. To my left is the lovable Uncle Scott Schiaffo. And up on the top right is Alan Jax Bowers, an incredible drummer. If you guys haven't seen Middle Village yet, The Deplorables is a skit that we do in the beginning of the film because Brian O'Halloran catches me daydreaming in Juniper Park in the town that we do the whole movie about. And I'm daydreaming about filming an action movie called The Deplorables. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people found it very funny. And but what my thought was is that Gene was so unbelievably prepared, and Gene was so unbelievably smart about how setups went and how filming went. And when I suggested something, not only was he open to it, he was also smart enough to go, Dave, that sucks. Let's do it this way. And I was totally fine with that because he's a very, very smart cat. And he knows how to shoot him. He knows what makes, Gene look monstrous and what makes Gene have great camera presence. And it was a complete and total honor to work with him. He did a wonderful job in Deplorables. And maybe someday, if the gods align and money rains upon me, we'll go out and we'll make a Deplorables movie, a real one.
That'd be awesome.
Well, I can't say enough how much fun I had that day. It was great getting all the strange looks from the people that were like out hiking nature and we're there in like camouflage and fatigues.
Yes, could you guys imagine you're in a wonderful nature preserve with beautiful waterfalls, just going out to take a hike or to enjoy it with your family, and then this group of mangy deplorables are walking by with carrying two cameras, carrying Edward X. Young had a knife that was literally like 3 feet long. And then I think Gene pushed over a tree literally to give us a walkway over a stream, and then we all walked over the tree. That it was a lot of fun. We had a great time that day, and yep. And it was actually humbling to see what a great actor Gene is. Scott,
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't blow smoke up your ass if you weren't a great actor. I just wouldn't talk about it. You're a really, really, really talented actor. And
ironically, not to cut you off, but that was the first time I ever met Scott and Jax, and then just Edward as well. So to have the chemistry that we had with that was kind of cool because we literally just never met, and then just started filming, and away we went. That was awesome.
Yep. I remember Jax was playing at the Mohegan Sun Arena, and he had you come out and get the crowd warmed up, and we had a great time that day. Sadly, Jax moved to Florida, but maybe someday we can revisit the wonderful deplorables of Middle Village.
Yeah, buddy.
So, Gene, are you working on any film project as we speak?
Actually, I'm not. I'm just kind of waiting for the world to get back on its feet so that we could, start doing films again and going to films and, getting the entertainment business back up on its feet because, it's been too long. I'm ready to get back to doing projects and, seeing movies and going to the drive-in and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully sooner than later, but yeah, at the moment, nothing. I'm just, like I said, doing the business thing, and it's PriorityOneSurplus.com if anybody wants to check the website out. So busy with
Gene,
that.
Does Priority One have a physical location?
Yes, it does. 1744 Tilden Ridge Drive in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay, if anybody is in the area and is familiar with that area, go stop by. Are you there a lot, Gene?
Yep, pretty much every day.
Oh, stop by and say hello to a wrestling icon and pick up some cool swag at a shop. Gene, where can people find you on viral media, on social media, if they're trying to find out what Gene Snisky's up to?
I'm on Instagram at The Real Snisky, and Twitter is Big Gene Snisky, and like I said, the store website, you could check that out. Email me there too. And just that's about it at the moment. Just like I said, doing our thing here and trying to get the business, bigger and better and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just ready to get back to the grind. Hopefully the virus thing passes and we could all get back to normal.
Yep. And everybody, make sure you reach out and check out 100 Acres of Hell. Gene's wonderful in that movie. And if you want to go back a couple years and see Uncle Scott and Gene and I running around in the woods fighting fake monsters, check out Middle Village. Gene, I really have to say this before you go. Everything really is your fault.
I don't know about that. I have been I've been cleared by Lita herself. If you go back and watch the footage, she actually gave me a kiss on the lips and played with my beard, and it was kind of awkward. But yeah, so I was cleared by her. So yes, Dave, it is not my fault.
Mr. Snitsky, thank you so much for being not only on my show but for being a dear friend. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.
I miss you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for having me on. 100 Acres of Hell, available at Walmart. Check it out. Hit me up. Stop by the shop. David, Scott, and the guy up on the left. I forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Joe. That's okay. I forgot yours
Joe.
Too.
And just wanted to say thanks. Thanks for having me. And you guys have a great night.
Be well, Gene.
All right. See you guys.
Excuse me. Somebody read that, please.
That's Joe's mantle. Nobody is at fault like Joe. I got you. No, Joe. It's Gene's biggest catch line, and maybe one of the biggest catch lines in WWF history. And people who are watching us, who are wrestling fans, want to hear Gene go, "It's not my fault," because that gave me goosebumps, and he's done it like a gazillion times around me.
Completely understand. Everybody's busting chops here. Everybody is.
There was one, Joe. What funny scene in Deplorables? We're in a burnt out building. The Deplorables are, and Scott is going through his pockets, and he goes, "Damn it! Who forgot the gum?" And Gene turns and looks in the camera and goes, "It's not my fault." Really funny stuff. At least
I'm gonna have to use that bit that he said, and the guy up in the corner. I don't know your name, but thank you.
Oh, he's a lovable guy.
Yeah, I'm busting chops. That was funny as hell. That was good stuff.
So, Mr. Schiaffo, my friend, how are you? How is your week going? How is everything in life?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Keeping busy. Got a couple of projects brewing. I put my back out today at Costco. We like once or twice a month we go to Costco, and everything's bulk, bird seed, cat litter, cases of water, and I'm a little achy, but I'm doing good, man.
That was me literally trying to type something, throwing you a big fat softball, hoping that you would talk for like a minute and a half.
No. You need to type?
No, I'm done.
Okay. Sorry. To give you more filler. Hey!
There you go. Who did that? Did you do that?
No, not at all. That's Scott Meany.
No. I'm not talking about the artwork. Putting it up on screen.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't do that. I guess Joe did that.
Joe, me and Mr. Schiaffo also have a movie that's out if you want to put that up. There you go. Scott, have you been kept abreast of the reviews we've been getting and all the kind things people, it just keeps coming in? It's shocking. I'm wondering if they're watching a different movie than this one.
No, it's been great, David. I think we have nothing but I have nothing but gratitude for having not only been in the cast but also working on the music.
We love you too, Sean. You're guys like you, Sean, are why we do this show, because you are awesome. Lance, you're awesome. You have your own show. I watch it all the time. You're the best. And he's hoping that your back gets better. And Libby McDermott. Who's cooler than Libby McDermott?
Not many.
I mean, other than me, of course. But Libby McDermott, you know who she's way cooler than? Tiffany Shepis. Way cooler than Tiffany Shepis. Tiffany Shepis supposed to be my friend. Tonight she's putting on her show against mine. Not nice, Tiffany Shepis. Evil Tiffany Shepis.
Going on ratings. She's doing a ratings war with you.
Yes. Damn you, Tiffany Shepis. Damn the 12 people who are watching you. No.
Well, the fact that a lot of people catch it after it's been live, which is great too.
No, absolutely. I'm just joking, Scott. So, Scott, when are we actually going to be able to get together and have dinner and live life like normal people for a couple hours?
Oh man, we're in such a horrible time, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's gotten better, or it got better for a little while now. It's crazy again. I kind of have a bit of a heightened scenario. Jules' mom is in her 90s, so she's in that real susceptible community, and we care for her several times a week. So always worried we don't want to bring any germs to her, and it's just miserable. I have some high school buddies. We would go get a pizza once or twice a year and just reconnect. That's been kiboshed. It's awful, but I guess it could be worse. I haven't been sick. I got a lot of work done over these last couple of months. The audio book. Scott Meany and I are also working on a video presentation for the artwork, along with music. But I don't know, brother. It's been, I guess the last time we saw each other in person was, the screening. That's not that long ago.
We should be happy that we survived the screening and nothing came of it, because we were actually really worried about being around, people at the premiere. But luckily, we survived, or as close as.
And you guys showed up live at the premiere.
What happened?
Yeah,
we tried.
The show.
Joe, we tried desperately to make that as good as possible, but sadly, if you saw the confines of the theater and the timing between screenings, there was a laptop that the theater was kind enough to let us use to say hello to you guys, but it was working off of Wi-Fi, and every 16-year-old girl who worked in the theater was using the Wi-Fi, chatting. Facebook and all that. So, and Brian, of course, didn't have his makeup ready, so he wasn't coming on. He didn't have his eyeliner and his lipstick and his rouge that he needed.
It's called guy liner.
Guy liner. Yes, he didn't have his guy liner. And come on, Scott, don't shake your head like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, I see. I come camera ready.
Absolutely.
Always.
You come radio ready.
Yeah.
Not as well as we do.
Face for radio.
We call him Mr. Maybelline. That's Brian.
Just
You know,
for
it's funny,
men.
Just
Just for men and Spanx for men. Everything you see is faux. It's all faux.
Spanx for men. I love it.
You know, this is the point of the show where I'm saying to myself, "Damn you, Daniel Ferenz!"
Yeah, you got to put up with me, and you needed me to stretch it out, and it didn't happen.
There's something strangely. There was something weirdly erotic about the way you said that horrified me.
The stretching out. The hell have I got?
You know, it's so funny. It's so funny. On George's show, about an hour and a half, the great producer Michael Mandaville, the iconic Richard Grieco, and George Romero were there dissecting the great works of film and how pictures should be made here. And you're doing the whee whistle, and I'm doing the waka waka.
We go for lowbrow.
It goes to show you. It goes to show you what an absolute mess this show is.
Waka waka. Half the kids out there aren't going to know what that is.
I think you're right. I don't think half the adults know what that is.
Hey, thank you, Damon, for that. Very nice comment.
That's so weird. My eyes are going so badly. As I read it in the corner, and I thought it said, Uncle Scott is creepy. I was like, what are you thanking him for that for? That's not very nice.
I need one of the noisemakers that Uncle Scott has. That's Lance. No, you don't. Your wife will kill you.
So have you seen any good flicks lately, Scott?
Oh, wow. We watched oh, God, the name, I'm getting have so many middle-aged moments. It was, The Secret Garden.
Secret Garden. Did you see
Yeah,
that,
there's
Joe?
a new The Secret Garden. It was very much appropriate to watch with Carrie's mom. So a lot of times we pick flicks for the Plex server that will be something, you know, she could appreciate and, you know, no sexual or bad language type of stuff.
You see, I'm a tech geek, and I'm loving that Scott said that the Plex server, and I know exactly what that is, and a lot of people out there don't know what that is. So I totally dig that. Thank you, Scott.
So, Joe, why don't you tell the people who don't know what it is?
Yeah, I could give you some passwords to get in there. I have almost 3,000, believe it or not, like 2,500 films and counting.
Wow.
It's pretty nuts, and music as well.
That's awesome. For those of you that don't know, I mean, it's literally a server that can be shared, and you can get it on Roku, Fire Stick, your computer, your phones. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I have one computer in the studio. There's like 4 computers in my studio, but I have one computer that just is dedicated to running Plex 24/7.
Oh, that's got to be a great computer server then.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's an Intel machine, but that's all it does is serve up the movies.
So tell me, Uncle Scott, when you were a kid, did you play with these Star Trek toys too?
You know, I was a Star Trek fan, but I didn't have any Star Trek toys. What I was thinking about when you were bringing up those older toys, I was a big color forms guy. I had the Batman color forms. To me, those were so awesome. And I had the Universal Monsters, the models, you know, the Universal Monster models.
Right.
Yes.
That was
And the
really
color
up my alley.
Coliforms, I mean, I would remember, like, they would come out monthly, almost like comic books, and there'd be Spider-Man. I one time got a James Bond coliform. Those
wow.
Those were the
So wait a minute,
coolest.
those are the ones that you stuck on like a backboard?
Right.
You would open it up,
Scene.
Right.
and it'd be a scene like an explosion or car race or some dramatic scene, and then you would take the color forms, which were like almost like vinyl stickers, and put them in different places on your to put together. That's back when people had imaginations. Damon's asking me how Pumpkinhead's coming along. Pumpkinhead's coming along great. I think an official announcement on what's going on with Pumpkinhead's going to happen in September, but super excited about everything that's going on with Pumpkinhead. And
Wow, dynamite.
Yep. Well, it's easy to write about Pumpkinhead. It's literally like a self-biography. I had the Universal Monster Model Kit. On the Monster Model Kits, I remember there was Frankenstein. Was there a bride?
There was Frankenstein, Dracula, and the werewolf, and they were really in the likeness of those actors from back in the day that originated the roles. So they were the coolest.
Did you play any of those Avalon Hill war games when you were a kid?
No, I wasn't a big soldiers or G.I. Joe guy. I've kind of been a music and movie geek since I'm a child, very young. I would be listening to LPs and catching movies on TV. Even as a young guy, I was enthralled by the medium of how powerful movies were. And of course, music.
Lance, you wrote Damon is a huge fan. So I got excited. I was like, wow, I have a fan.
And then he had to add this.
Then he had to add a Pumpkinhead. Thank you, Lance. It's very kind of you. For a moment, I was actually feeling good about myself, but that will not happen anymore.
David, if it makes you feel any better, I'm a huge fan.
Of Pumpkinhead?
I was going to say of you, but okay.
Well, thank you, Joe. Check's in the mail.
You guys.
Mr. Schaffel, before we call it a night, is there anything you would like to say to our lovely audience?
Just thank you very much for all the love and support that you show, not only this show, but all of my projects. My CD audio book, we're having a little bit of a hold up with the artwork because we're waiting on a proof, but that's exciting stuff. And we're also doing videos for that as well. That may turn into an actual illustrated movie based on the work.
Really?
So, yeah, Scott Meany is just that guy, man. He's on another level. So we'll, but it's taking time. But I'm very excited about it because he took the words and now we have a whole new way to express them and create around them. So it's just super exciting.
So next week is the final episode of the season, Uncle Scott. Please join us. I think if you give this a moment of thought, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But next week, I'm desperately trying to get a former president of SAG on our show. I think you know who I'm in touch with and friends with. And we're going to try to work that out, the husband-wife combo. And I would love for you to come on and say hello to them next Friday.
Wow, it would be my honor and pleasure. Thank you.
Everybody, the great Scott Schiaffo.
Good night.
Good night, Scott.
Good night, brother.
Thank you.
Well, that was an absolute train wreck of a show, but I had a wonderful time.
Oh, it was awesome. Every show is a train wreck. If it wasn't a train wreck, it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be my show. I see what you mean. This whole like dangling wire thing is very annoying. I don't know why. I gotta get it. It's my little wimpy, saggy cord that I have now. I had a much more manlier cord back when I was 49. But when
you hit 50,
I hit 50 and my cord just went to crap, and I had to get a wimpy little cord that doesn't do the job as Libby loves us some Meanie. Good night. Why isn't it ever we love us some Dave? Dave's cool. Dave did a great show. It's always like
Dave's got a limp earbud.
Dave, yes, I'm waiting for that. Let me write. Dave has a limp earbud, so I can just feel really shitty about myself for the rest of the night. Yes, so next week I'm super excited. It's our season finale, and it's going to be a great show. And before the season ends, I want to say thank you, Michael. I have one big fan. Thank you, Michael. Before the season's over, I want to honestly and sincerely thank Joe Ridgely and George Romero for building such a wonderful broadcast medium here. And I want to thank them for letting me come and screw around in their scan box. They're both amazingly talented guys. They're both very, very generous to the community, and they're both super kind to everybody who is a part of the Indie Brigade. So I want to say thank you to you guys for doing what you do. You make so many people smile every week. It's your fault for this, actually. And thank you, William. And you guys deserve all the love and kudos you get for the kindness. Never anybody ever, thank you, George, you're the man. Nobody ever take any of my little stupid quips and jokes as anything other than that. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I just try to entertain everybody. Joe, I love you, brother. And with that being
you as well, no, before you say that though, I mean, we couldn't do it without you. So thank you as well.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. It's all about learning. It's all about fun. It's all about us having a great time, and just being one big happy family. And the truth is, that's what we really are. To everybody in the Indie Brigade, much love from the end of the night. And if I can have my close-up, Mr. Ridgely, I wrote it right here so I wouldn't remember. Well, so I wouldn't forget. I do remember. And George wrote it right here. No man is a failure who has friends. Be well, everybody.